All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the market close. It is Monday, December 23rd, 3:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know what it feels like, dude? It feels like when you were in high school and it's the end of the year and like, you know, the year is basically done and you're just waiting for those last couple days. That's what it feels like right now. It feels like we're about to get dismissed from school for the rest of the year, even though the stock market still has 5 trading days left. And that's kind of how the markets are feeling right now. That's really kind of how the markets are feeling right now as we get into the market close. By the way, today, Jason is going to join for Technical Tuesday on Monday because tomorrow there's no market close because the market ends early. So we're just going to have the market open tomorrow. So Jason's going to be on today. So we'll have Jason on in about 15 minutes and we will get started with all of the technical things that we need to talk about. But overall, markets have been pretty boring today. There really hasn't been anything too crazy. And I think that's just because the entire stock market is ready to go to sleep for a little bit and get into the new year. We do have some movers. And so let's talk about those. And then we'll get into some of the other headlines. We have Palantir, $80.64. Folks, we went from 82.02 where we opened at 9:30, dumped all the way to 77.41. And now we're back to $80.63. We are 13 minutes away from the second consecutive day of $80 closes on Palantir. I don't care if it's $80.01. Right now we're at 63 cents, which is amazing. But if we can hold 80 the second day in a row on a close, like it actually closes above 80, that'd be really bullish. And I'm sure Jason, when we go through the technicals, he'll make some analysis on why closing above 80 is bullish. So let's see. We got 13 minutes left. Let's see if we can do it. Their strength on Palantir is pretty phenomenal, quite frankly. We also have a variety of influencers on X. Laura Loomer, who's like this big MAGA personality, she just tweeted, "Is Palantir is Palantir's headquarters? Is the White House the new headquarters for Palantir?" So you got a lot of people starting to take notice about what's going on with Palantir. On top of that, we also had this happen. Our best friend, Mr. Jason Calacanis, he discovered some things about Palantir here today.
And I stepped into the Palantir. You know, sometimes I step in something, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever seen this on X, but sometimes I step in something.
I've seen it several times now.
Yes. So I walked into a hornet's nest. I didn't realize Palantir had an army of individuals who are very enthusiastic, like our friends with Bitcoin or the XRP army.
Mm-hmm.
There's an enthusiastic, vivacious, effervescent group of individuals who love the company Palantir. And
well, now you know. Now you know. This is so funny to me, dude. I was actually in the live stream early. So basically, David Sachs was laughing at Jason yesterday because 3 months ago when David Sachs says he was long Palantir, Jason Chamath, all the guys started laughing on the podcast, whether they were serious about their jokes or they weren't. It was kind of 3 against 1, bullying him a little bit because Palantir is like a deep state company and like David Sachs doesn't like the deep state, yada, yada. They were just making jokes. And then Sachs yesterday is like, you know what? Palantir's up 200% since that clip came out. Looks like it was right to be long Palantir. And Jason, because his personality is largely driven by ego, that's not really a dig at him, but I mean, if you've ever seen the Palmer Luckey, Jason Calacanis battle back and forth, like it's just true. This is a guy who's very driven by his ego. He dedicates an entire episode today on his podcast talking about Palantir's valuation. He would not even care about Palantir's valuation had David Sachs not thrown a little dunk at him yesterday. So it was just funny to kind of see that happening. I think they're going to release the full podcast later, but I was in the stream for a little bit. And basically Jason was like, this is very expensive. How are people buying it? And it's like, join the party, dude. We've been analyzing this for a long time. Everyone knows it's expensive, but nonetheless, people continue to believe in the mission of Palantir. So $80.50 right there on Palantir. Outside of Palantir, Robinhood down 2.24% of the day. Not too bad, given Bitcoin's actually down pretty aggressively from that 97 level that it was at last week. I thought Robinhood would be down more. So I'm actually kind of okay with Robinhood kind of chilling at that $37 range, down about 2%. Vlad did a new interview with Pompliano. I watched a little bit about that tonight. We're going to have a special guest on Hood Weekly today with Tanner and I, 9:30 p.m. So we'll be going deeper into that podcast and discussing more about Robinhood. Now, NVIDIA, another big winner today. Look at that, up 3.45%. NVIDIA is 60 cents away from getting back to the 140s. We got 10 minutes left into the close. Let's see if that can happen. But NVIDIA last week got to 126 on the lows on Friday, kind of hovered around 130 for the majority of last week. If you bought that dip, you've done very well. 139 on NVIDIA. AMD, I haven't checked on the past couple hours. AMD is up 4.5% as well. So AMD not giving up their gains along with NVIDIA. In terms of the rest of the semiconductor ecosystem, yeah, Pretty much green across the board. Intel's up 3%. That's how you know it's a good day for the semis. If Intel is up 3%, SMCI is up 2%, Marvell's up a little bit. ARM is the only one that's really down on the day. Micron's also kind of flat. ARM's down about 4%. Lam Research, Dell, Broadcom's up 5.6%. ASML up 2%. So really good day for the semis. SMH, the semiconductor ETF, also rebounding today, up about 3%. And on an ETF, that's very good. So not bad for the semis and for NVIDIA itself. TSM, also great day for them. TSM up, wow, 5.29%. Look at that. So TSM and Broadcom really leading the way, and then NVIDIA and AMD not too far behind them in terms of the green. Google right here, 196. Google getting some love. Airbnb's up a little bit. Netflix rebounding to that 910 level. It was at 899. SOFI, great day for SOFI, 1565 up 1.92%. Why is SOFI up? Because student loans are officially, we talked about this briefly in the morning, but Biden announced today that the 38 million borrowers that were going to get student loan relief, which is part of the reason a lot of people voted for Biden, because he was promising a $10,000 relief package for borrowers. So if you owed $50,000, you would owe $40,000. That never happened. A lot of people voted for Biden because of that. That was not the case. So very bullish SoFi that the Biden administration has officially withdrawn student loan forgiveness plans. It doesn't really matter, though. It's kind of one of those headlines that's getting SoFi to go higher. I'm happy that it's causing SoFi to go higher, but like, he has 10 days left of being in office. So there was no way that he was going to have any executive action that could have actually forgiven that many student loans. But that is one of the things that's really good for SoFi. Now, Drew says, isn't that inflationary? No, this is the opposite of inflationary. This means people have to pay their money back to the government. It would have been inflationary. Oh, if you're asking, isn't that inflationary? Then yes. If Biden actually, it was about $400 billion that they were trying to erase in student debt. That would have been very inflationary, because someone has to pay for that $400 billion. And the older you get, the more you realize, oh, wait a second, we're eventually going to pay for it somehow when the government prints it. So yeah, that would have been inflationary, but that's not happening. However, something that is going to be inflationary, which happened this morning, and some of you guys might be the beneficiaries of this, the IRS is sending out $1,400 stimmy checks to 1 million people who qualified for them in 2021, but never actually claimed them. This was a very confusing headline that I saw this morning. Now, why is this happening? So here's the sort of logic right here. The IRS found that many eligible taxpayers did not claim the recovery rebate credit on their 2021 tax returns, a credit for taxpayers who didn't receive at least one stimulus payment, also known as the COVID-19 pandemic stimulus payment. The total cost of these payments will be about $2.4 billion. Not crazy, right? Given our economy's upwards of $30 trillion, but it is money that's being sent out to people. While many factors determine how much money a taxpayer will receive, the checks will reach up to $1,400. I actually, after I posted this, got a message from a follower who said that this morning, $2,800 were deposited into his bank account from the IRS, and he had no idea why. He was like, Amit, thanks for your post on Twitter, because I had no idea why I got $2,800 from the IRS. And that tells me that this is kind of weird. So my three problems with this here. First of all, if you need the stimulus money and everyone else got it and you didn't get it, then I think you should get it. But the problem I have here is that, number one, this feels inflationary, obviously. Number two, it's inflationary in an absurd way, because we don't need to send it out. If those people didn't claim it, and trust me, I don't think anyone would reject free money. I know I got a stimmy check back in 2021. Like if you were eligible to get it, I'm like, you probably claimed it. If you didn't claim it, I don't get why we need to send it out. So it was just kind of weird. Like, the fact that someone messaged me saying, I got $2,800 today from the IRS, and I don't know why, goes to show me that person wasn't expecting the money, maybe because they didn't need the money, or maybe they didn't care to get that money for whatever reason in their life. But the IRS made sure to send it out to 1 million people. And then third of all, I do think this is a tailwind for equities, since more money is being sent out, which means people will buy more goods and services. If you just got $1,400 and you want to buy a new MacBook, there you go. That's great for Apple stock. Or if you have $1,400 and you don't need to buy a new MacBook, maybe you invested in Apple stock. So technically, I think it's bullish. It's only $2.4 billion. It's not that crazy, right? But it was a little confusing to see that was a headline today, and that money actually was being sent out. Now, the IRS president came out with a statement, and he was basically like, this is what he said. He said, the IRS continues to work hard to make improvements and help taxpayers. Commissioner Danny Werfel said, these payments are an example of our commitment to go the extra mile for taxpayers. So his logic was, hey, even though no one wanted this money, we're going the extra mile, and we're bringing this money. So that was the logic. If you got a stimmy check, congrats. I couldn't believe there was more stimulus checks to hand out. But that was one of the headlines that we saw today. And the fact that was the most interesting news of the day also tells me that this market is ready to just like go to sleep for 2024. I mean, really, outside of that, we had the PayPal headline today, that honey thing. I really don't think that's a big deal for PayPal. PayPal basically flat on the day, not that big of a deal. 86.95 right here on PayPal. Now, MicroStrategy has had a hell of a day. This is down 9%. They added 5,000 more Bitcoin. They did that by diluting shareholders. We're going to have a guest on the show whose name is Jason, who's going to be talking about his thoughts on MicroStrategy. He did call a short on MicroStrategy last week, and that has worked out for him. So we'll get his updated thoughts on that. But yeah, as Bitcoin goes down 3% and as Saylor dilutes shareholders, you got MSTR going down 9%, which is not fun for MicroStrategy, but that is what's happening right now. Tesla, great day. Holding up 2% right here. Maybe it closed above 430. We're at 429.90 right now. Meta at 600. That's up 2.5%. You got the Qs up 1%, 522 on the NASDAQ. Not bad. The S&P 500 was down on the day. Now it's up almost 0.5% or a little bit above 0.5% at 0.7. Not bad. Lam Research is up 2.68% on the day. Apple 255, close to all-time highs. Rumble. Great day for Rumble. They got a big investment by Tether. I was watching an interview of the founder or the CEO of Rumble talk about the investment, and Tether wanted as many shares as they could get. Like Tether was really excited to buy Rumble. So they bought about 100 million shares at $7.50, $750 million. Rumble right here up 82% on the day based on that cash infusion. Palantir holding above 80. We got 3 minutes left. I do think we're going to get our second consecutive day of an $80 close, which is going to be awesome. AMD at 124, SMH up 3%. Got Robinhood down about 2% on the day. Let's go to the Mag 7 real quick as well. I think Microsoft was the only one that was lagging. Yeah, Microsoft's still down. Apple's up, Meta's up, Google's up, Amazon's up, NVIDIA's up, and Tesla is up on the day. Not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah, Walmart had its worst day in like 3 years. I don't know why Walmart was down 2% of the day. Maybe because it was up like 70% for the year and people decided to take some profits on the 23rd of December. But I don't know what headline came out to make Walmart have a little bit of a tougher day. But Walmart was down about 2%. We went over the Visa sales this morning. Visa put out a study on retail sales and in-person store sales, and it's up basically 5% year over year. So it looks like Q4 is going to be a really strong holiday shopping quarter, and we still have about a week left, right? And this is like, I think, the busiest week of Q4 in terms of last minute deliveries and people going shopping. So yeah, I think Q4 is going to end out good. I think the market, hopefully, we got 5 days left, ends out good as well. And then that's it. We are done for 2024. Doug says, I'm buying a few Palantir shares at end of day. Well, here you go. $80.69, folks. We have about a minute 30 left. I think, unless anything happens in this minute 30, we are closing above $80 again, which is really nice. I mean, look, it's a lot of strength. You got to give it up to Palantir right here. $80. Last time it got to 80 in the pre-markets, it dumped immediately. This time is different with the NASDAQ ETF flows, obviously with all the headlines that came out over the weekend around SpaceX, Anduril, Palantir working together. I'll have a video coming out on that later throughout the day at around 7 p.m. Eastern, going deeper into that. So, I mean, you got the street that's willing to buy it at $183 billion market cap, no matter how much Jason Calacanis wants to cry about it. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see $80.74. I think everyone knows the valuation's up there. I asked on Twitter today who's feeling nervous, who's excited. And a lot of people were like, look, yeah, we think it could have a little pullback. It's getting up there, but long-term, we're really excited to hold the company. And I think that's the story. That's really the story at the end of the day for Palantir. And I think that'll continue to be the story going into 2025 as well. So very, very exciting day here for Palantir. We did hit 81. Yeah, we hit 81 like an hour ago as well. So I mean, it's had 81.13 is where we hit. So it's just had a hell of a day, strong day, and volume is crazy, 86 million shares. So even with a lot of shares going back and forth, there have been more buyers ultimately than sellers on Palantir. All right, here we go. Monday, December 23rd, a very cold day in New Jersey, 4 p.m. Thank you, everybody, for being here. The stock market is now closed. My Christmas gift to everyone who hates the bell is the microphone doesn't pick up the bell anymore. So Merry Christmas too. See, for all those that hate the bell, you secretly love it because you don't know what you have until you lose it. And I know a lot of you, although you hate it, you love the bell. $80.69, folks. We got our second close consecutively for Palantir above $80. Guys, this is also holy crap, dude. We closed at this exact price on Friday. We closed at this exact price on Friday. $80.69 is where we closed on Friday. That's wild. That is wild. Now it's up a little bit after hours, $80.75. $80.69 is where Palantir closed on Friday. 2 closes in a row of $80.69. The 69 just makes it so much cooler. So there you go. Palantir basically flat from Friday, even with 91 million shares traded today. More people than not decided to buy Palantir. Robinhood down about 2% of the day. 37.50 is where we got the close. Netflix 911.45. That was up about 26 bips. MicroStrategy, nasty day, down about 8.78%. Bitcoin right here down about 2.6% currently as we are getting to the market close. SOFI, nice day, up 1.82%. Snowflake was down about 2.92%. Tesla was up 2.2%. Tesla got the 430 close. Not bad. We'll get Jason on a little bit and evaluate that from a technical standpoint. Meta, 599.85. The Qs, great day for them, up 1%. S&P up 0.62%. Not bad for the S&P 500. NVDA, great day for NVIDIA, up 3.69%. Again, it's not easy to move NVIDIA 4 or 5% just because there's a lot of shares outstanding, and that's a lot of market cap that gets added to NVIDIA. $3.42 trillion on NVIDIA's market cap. Apple is at $3.86 trillion at 255 currently right now. Walmart ends the day down about 2%. Google's up about 1.5%, 195.99. And then you got Palantir, $80.69 on a close for the day. Not bad. Not a bad day. S&P cooked into the close. That is correct. The entire market kind of cooked into the close. Again, you had some pockets of red, but it was really a boring day. It was one of those days where you go to school and you don't want to do work. The teacher doesn't want to teach you anything. They know it's almost Christmas break and they put some, BS assignment on the board and they don't really care if you hand it in. And it's one of those days where you can just chill, right? That's what we had today. And I think that's what we're going to have for the rest of the week. Out barring any big macro or geopolitical events, I don't know. I just feel like the market's not going to oscillate that much, especially because everyone wants to protect their gains towards the end of the year, which means A, not really selling, but B, if there is a massive sell-off and I don't know, Tesla goes to like 380 or something, you're going to get a lot of people that come in and buy that dip because they're going to be super excited going into the new year to get Tesla at some cheaper levels if that happens. So I don't know. I think this week, the volatility we have to experience, we experienced last week. I don't know if we're necessarily going to experience that much more of it, but we still have about 5 days left and we're going to see kind of how the market ultimately plays out. All right. Let's bring on one of our favorite technical analysts onto the show and get his thoughts on what's going on in the market. Because he's here early today, we're starting early at 4 p.m. We should be able to get through a lot of tickers. So please make sure to put them in the chat and we will get through them one by one as we figure out technically where is this market headed. All right, let's roll the intro.
What's up, man? We made it.
The intro is always so epic. It's always so epic.
The intro's hot. It's hot.
I love it.
Do I need to get closer to the screen to be like you? Oh man.
You were good. You were good. Unless you want to get closer.
Merry Christmas, dude. Almost Merry Christmas.
Dude, does your kid have an understanding of Santa?
No. Well, no. He has no understanding of Santa. Honestly, we're thinking about like, dude, what's the point of like, he just had a birthday and I'm like, okay, he can't even open his own presents. So you're like, the parents have to sit there and open them for him and then be like, ooh and ah, like while people are watching you open your child's presents. It's kind of weird, dude.
Yeah, he's just too young at this point,
Yeah, he's a little young. All I know is he's excited like when mom, dad, and grandma are all together. Grandpa's gone, but like he likes that. So yeah, he'll have fun for sure. No question. He's gonna have fun.
All right. Well, we've got a lot to talk about. A lot of technical stuff going on. I think let's just start with Palantir, and then we got to spend some time on crypto because there's a lot going on there.
Start with Palantir.
2 closes above 80. I think it's bullish, but I'm curious on
I mean, this is it's tough, dude. Every time you think it's done, it's like whoop, fooled ya. It's not quite over it yet, but this is look. If they were gonna sell it, pretty positive it would have already happened.
Right?
Right?
That is my thought. I agree, especially towards the end of the year.
There's no question to me. Like if you were gonna sell it, sorry, I'm getting a little hot. If you were gonna sell your Palantir and book some profits, it would have already happened. And maybe, dude, just maybe that's what we saw during all those exhaustion gaps, right? Like just some profit taking. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the January effect, but I kind of covered it today in our weekly. So we do a weekly trade plan every Monday, right? And that is the beginning of the Santa Claus rally, right? And if you guys aren't familiar with the Santa Claus rally, it does exist technically. It's not 100% by any means, but it doesn't start until December 26th.
Correct.
So it's like a 7-day window, and it's the last 5 days of the year, and I believe the first 2 or 3 days of the following year. So December 26th through, what did I put? January 3rd. That is officially the Santa Claus rally. So what we may be, and I don't see, the only thing that usually, knocks that off is like, if something like major changes. And we had a close call, we talked about it a couple weeks ago or last week. The market was priced for what, 3 rate cuts, 2 to 3 rate cuts. We got 2. And I think that was, we got 2 with some hawkish rhetoric. We were already priced for a hawkish cut, but it was a little bit more hawkish, let's say, than the market was expecting. But when you think about it, we were priced 50%, give or take, for 2 to 3 rate cuts in 2025, and we're getting 2. Right. So it shouldn't have been that big of a deal. Although technically, when I came on 3 weeks ago now, I said, like, if we were to get a big downside, it would be 5%, and we'd be at 575 on SPY.
We got close. We got to 577.
We got really close. So I think you could call that target acquired at this point, right? Right. And so 575.55 right here was that lower target. On Qs, it's even a little bit. I guess the question is, so what now, right? On Qs, it wasn't. There's a lot of confluence. It was very weird. I actually had lower on the Qs for my downside target if we did fail. But this off the 50-day simple moving average, which is this blue line for me, I'm going to change this.
Well, Tesla and NVIDIA and Apple held up really well over the past week.
How about that Apple, dude? I honestly, I don't even know what to say about it. I'm kind of like,
you can say you were right.
Hey, look, they're still going.
Yeah, you can say you were right. I mean, you were right on Apple.
I mean, yay for everybody likes being right. But there's a lot of confluence on the Qs at 505, lining up with the 50-day simple moving average and that prior all-time high right here. But I think just like every other time when we have these kind of, for you guys, you're probably very familiar with like the exhaustion gaps on Palantir, which we've had, right? It's just kind of like a pause for a moment and the market digests where we're going to go. And I think the market's just digesting if we're going to have a Santa Claus rally. And for all intents and purposes, I don't see why we don't, if that makes sense. That said, I don't know. So the Santa Claus rally, it's, is it okay if I share screens?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So the Santa Claus rally, technically 1.5%. It's not a big thing. 1.6 was the last reading I had on it, which is a while ago. And then 1.1 in January. So it's not like hey, we're gonna blow the socks off, right? It's not crazy. It's decent. The biggest piece of the Santa Claus rally, which is a couple of different reasons that it can happen, right? So January effect is the beginning, right? It's kind of like that reinvesting after tax loss harvesting. Sold your AMD, you sold your Celsius. It's like, where do I go back and redeploy? Now, depending on when you sold it, you have to wait about 30 days for a lot of those people to offset and not have these wash sale rules. So it can happen over the course of a month, actually. It's not always right away. So that and, end of year bonuses, things like that, it's important. So the strongest part of like the Santa Claus rally is this thing called the January effect, which actually lives in the Russell. And that's the biggest thing. So this is for Tom Lee and friends, where like if the January effect really kicks off with the Santa Claus rally, believe it or not, the IWM, and to me this year, it's kind of like diamonds. So diamonds is the Dow, DIA. 10 consecutive red closes, the most since 1979, I believe it was. I'll just look at my stuff again.
And a lot of that was United Health taking a big hit.
That was United Health, but even if we look at United Health today, it's starting to bounce. So United Health today, I think I took a small shot on United Health today. I think this is really interesting. This purple line is the 200-week simple moving average. So this is locked on. This is locked on the weekly time frame. So rarely do you see stocks get to a 200-week simple moving average. And usually, if they're good companies, when you do, it's a pretty good buying opportunity. This is UNH. Whenever it's gotten to its 200-week simple moving average, if you were to buy that at that point, it's always been a good buying opportunity. Now, I mean, that said, we know there's other things going on right now, but all that aside, you know, if you just stuck with your rules, it's time to buy that one.
Okay, so given that, where do you think Palantir sits in the midst of all this?
Where is my chart that I was just on? What the hell screen was I just on? So Palantir, I think is still digestion, right? So I think as long as it's holding this area, the 7750, that's the next piece. So it's what we're gonna see is if people deploy new capital in the Palantir, and I mean, you know.
It's not easy. It's not easy at these levels. Well,
when you think about it, right? So it's not easy. I mean, it's tactically not hard. Right? You just push a button, but they're executing, right? Every day it's seemingly every day there's a new contract, right? And what was the headline today? I mean, it's literally every day.
Yeah, I think it's not easy for OG investors, but for the toots, I think it's really easy, which is why we have all this volume, because they're stepping in and they're saying, all right, $80, we think it'll be 500 one day. Let's buy.
Yeah, because institutions, they'll flip-flop quickly, like I will, right? Like they'll be your friend one day, but they can be, not on your side the very next day, and you won't even know, because they just need to go with the trend, really. And if this is where flows are, and this is one of the strongest stocks in the market, they have no problem violating the cost basis, right? Because they're just trying to get that next piece of where's money going to flow to. So, I agree. Like for institutions, there's no issue here getting long as close to 75 as they can, and as long as it's holding over this white line, which is the 20-day simple. Look, you really haven't gotten. It just hugged this. Is like, what is this? This is the big flush. I mean, this is my buy, right?
That was at what 70.27, right?
What is it?
That was that was the pre-market dip on Friday. Oh, you're talking about from
It's August 5th, right? Oh. But the 20-day is just this white line, right? So the 20-day simple moving average, it's just this white line on my screen, and it's a daily simple moving average.
Right.
So it's really, I mean, look at this, man. It's barely ever come down below. So from a trend perspective, this is screaming. It's crazy.
It's one of the sexiest charts ever. And it's like, it's happening, dude. It's wild.
I mean, the thing, I guess what is hard is like, it was one of the sexiest charts ever. It's still, now it's just absolutely unbelievable. Like it's beyond disbelief at this point. But this is just kind of like this recent channel. So I do think like if it could go up a little bit, but I don't know that it holds in the near term. Like if you see Palantir at $85, I don't know that it holds $85 that day. you're setting up for some more kind of exhaustion. But every time we get this exhaustion top, it's like, it's higher, right? So I wouldn't get like overly exuberant, like, but as a like equity holder, yeah, I would stay. But as long as you're in this channel, this general channel, I think you're perfectly fine. And that's this channel right here, which would put it, it puts it at 75 as the local lows that you want to see it holding.
Okay, can we go to Tesla and see what the heck is happening there?
Tesla's a funky chart. So it's like 420 right now. I don't know what's going on, but 420, is that a certain market cap or is it just a funny number?
It is a funny number, but the market cap on Tesla is 1.4 trillion, I think.
At 420?
1.38. No, it's at 430 right now. But at 420, I think it's at 1.2 trillion. So nothing too crazy there.
Yeah, I think they're just playing games. We talked about this before. I think Tesla holds up extremely well going into the new year for sure, just because, I mean, again, that's kind of like where it's trading as that proxy to Musk, right? And he's in a good position. If you get a dip, I mean,
what, are you bullish on this chart? Like, do you think 500
dude,
like
randomly became like one of my like larger holdings, like accidentally, right? Because I trimmed a little Apple and it continued to go higher. This is one I did not trim, right? And I'm like, okay, it's neutral is where I'm kind of going with this. So you have a near term kind of like topping formation here, but it just barely snuck out of it today. It doesn't mean that it's going to go higher right away, because sometimes these kind of setups will like chop for a while and then resolve themselves. So you got to see where this is going. Where for Tesla, this is more neutral, quite frankly. And it's a lot of stuff this is what I'm trying to say is a lot of stuff right now is in like day trade territory and not necessarily swing trade territory. So like things are setting up, but even if you get a move, like today we got a move on, people got to move on AMD. I don't know that actually holds, right? Because it's a very sloppy, choppy kind of setup. And I think that the market is ready to go to sleep for a little bit. And I don't know if sometimes low volume markets can actually rally pretty strong. But this is where we are on Tesla. So if I were to bet on something, this is one I would be. But actually, I took a Tesla trade today off the lows. Today we had like a bit of what's called a session gap. So between the after hours and like Euro session, there was this gap at 426. We had pulled back a little bit, but the second that we kind of reclaimed that, I actually took this long. I took it long a little bit higher than normal, looking for like 450s, because I do think it could bounce up right in here. But this is what I mean. Like, this is not necessarily like, I can't say we're going to be making new highs. This is going to $800 like sooner than later. It's too much in a digestion mode to say that, right? But can we bounce up to these local highs? Yeah, I think so for sure. So that'd be like me picking a 450 strike to day trade around on a morning like follow through, if that makes sense. Maybe a quick dip and then rip right after. But for now, as long as we're holding, I'd say about 417, this is pretty bullish. And even the thing is, like, even if it does fail at 417, I'd be more interested just slightly below the 20-day, because Tesla's in a similar situation where like it's hugging this 20-day simple, and that's going to be at like 390s.
Right.
I do think like a better dip buy is going to be retesting this area. But the thing is with Tesla here, I really don't know if we're going to get that. And that's around 340. For Tesla, that can happen in a day, just with the wrong headline though. So it's not one that I'm like, I'm just staying long. I'm not like ultra bearish. I know it's boring, but it is what it is, right? It's kind of neutral. It's bouncy, but it's not. It's got a lot of overhead resistance to get through. Eventually, I think it does resolve higher. But does that mean that this is the lows? I don't know.
The one thing I do know about Tesla is I think Q4 deliveries are going to be insanity. Like, there's a lot of people on Twitter posting that they just got their new Tesla. And so I think it cracks 500,000 vehicles. Yeah,
I mean, that was my whole thesis on getting long Tesla, like way down there, right? And same thing with Apple. It was the same. Part of it, right? And that is that the comps that they have for the foreseeable future. I mean, this was not fun, right? But their Tesla's comps are against all these like downtrending numbers. So moving forward, 2025, Apple and Tesla specifically, they have easy comps for earnings. So I don't think it'll be a problem for either of those two companies to beat estimates. China sold out of Model Y.
Yeah, no, China's doing really well for Tesla. I think it'll be good. So Q4, they delivered last year 484,000 cars. I think we get closer to 500, 510 this time, which is a nice beat year over year. And that would keep them positive on deliveries for the entire year instead of negative, like most people thought.
Here's what I'll say here. Let's just do this quick exercise. So if this is the lows, just in case, if this ends up being the low and this ends up basing out, I say basing out like going sideways and then resolving higher here, we will see that as an extension over 436. Over 440. We will see that as an extension over 440, which it's not there yet. And then your first hurdle is going to be right in these 460, 470 area. But if it could get through that, this extension would be to 540s.
Yeah. Also on a fundamental basis,
like Q1, late Q1.
Yeah. Outside of the macro getting hit badly, I cannot find a reason to be bearish Tesla. Like a fundamental reason. Forget the chart. Like I really can't find a fundamental law.
You could. Come on.
What's the reason? How do you get bearish?
I mean, if you're valuing it as a car company.
Well, yeah, but let's assume that's not happening because.
Okay, but that's the only case, right?
That's my point. If you're Gordon Johnson, sure, but like.
Yeah, that's the case.
What's the bear case on Tesla? What
I don't know, man. Because like you'd have to. So that's the thing. It's like nobody's. You'd have to be a net short seller, basically, and have a net new short out on Tesla, because it's not like if you're valuing Tesla as a car company, you're just not long, right? And so you'd have to be trying to continuously take these shots short on it, but it keeps knocking you out. So you're gonna have to cover, reload, which kind of puts you in this squeezy type of moment.
Yeah, I mean, and look, you can make a bear case for Tesla in a lot of ways, but I think the Trump relationship, as long as that's good, that's bullish. FSD rolling out, that's bullish. People are not ready for the bots. That's coming in 2025. That's bullish. Energy is going to keep growing. That's bullish. EV tax credit's going to go away. That's going to hurt the other guys. That's going to be more bullish for Tesla. Like I just
FSD doesn't exist. Yeah, I mean that's. But dude,
robo taxis don't exist yet, but FSD obviously does exist.
Beautiful. Doge doesn't happen. Okay.
That doesn't matter anything. That doesn't matter for Tesla, I think. I mean,
so right there, that last one from Sam, right? I think this is potentially it, right? So if he gets too close to Trump, we kind of know what happens to people that get too close to Trump, right? And if that goes sideways, but see, that's the thing. It's a bear case that hasn't happened yet. But if that happens, that could be that would be.
Well, speaking of that, real quick, I want to play this 20-second video. You got a lot of people calling like Elon Musk the president. I think Trump's a little jaded by that. He did have this little clip over the weekend right here.
And he got over 2,000 units. That's a lot. And they flooded it with Starlink, and it was so good. It saved a lot of lives. So we want to thank him. But no, he's not going to be president. That I can tell you.
I mean,
wait.
You know why? He can't be. He wasn't. And he got
like he made it a point to tell people, I know you guys think he could be president.
No, he can't be president. I
Yeah,
would
and so-
vote for him if he could be, but unfortunately, he wasn't born here, so he cannot be.
Yeah, and we just need to make sure Trump doesn't feel like overpowered by Elon or anything like that, because then Trump could cut off the relationship himself. So I agree, that's a risk, but I think it'll be okay long term.
Yeah, but that's the, I mean, so those are your risks, right? And I think with any good investment or trade, if you will, there's always a risk, an inherent risk, right? So, no risk, no Rari. That's all. That's the saying, right?
That's correct. All right, can we look at NVIDIA?
Yeah. So NVIDIA, we talked about, was it last week or the other week? And we talked about it being like, this is probably where your pattern people, we talked about this as an example of when bearish patterns go wrong. And I think we were looking at it almost exactly like this. And my thought was, okay, maybe we go a little bit lower, but honestly, at this 330, 130, down to 123, this is probably where you want to be getting net long anyways, because if this were to be one of those super bearish patterns, because, you know, you guys know probably by now, I'm not a pattern person. I'm more of what we call price action. A pattern person was that, oh, this is your head and shoulders, whatever. And we talked about it as that. And I'm like, well, look, if you're a head and shoulders person, pattern trader, which patterns fail more often than not, and you're thinking that this is the neckline, number one, you would probably be wrong because the neckline's legitimately like way up here. And number two, when bearish patterns fail, they're very bullish. And that's kind of where we are, right? So this is why I never, it's good to know about patterns, but it's never good to place your trades holistically, like completely based on them. And, you know, my thought there was that even up here, this was pattern complete. Does that make sense? Because it's a measured move from this top down to the bottom. And yeah, we didn't break down. So NVIDIA, that said, I would say is not exactly at a place either where you want to go super long. And it might be a little hard to understand that. So I turned on my simple moving averages again one more time. So this blue line here is the 50-day simple moving average at 139. It's a big deal, kind of like exactly what was breaking down before. I think one of two things can happen. And likely what will happen is that you get a bit of a rejection and you retest back into this level. And this is why I said also, it's not like I want to get mega long here, but now kind of what you're looking for is the next higher low. So you have what we call like a break of structure. So structure is a series of higher highs and higher lows. And so if this is your last local high, right? So this is a lower high. Then you have a lower low. Lower low. So hopefully, sorry for taking a second. Hopefully you guys follow.
By the way, guys, Palantir moving after hours, almost at 81.
Crazy. Lower high, right? Your bear case is pretty much violated near term. So this becomes a higher high, right? I think what's the word I want to say? I wanted to say something mean, but less experienced technical people, you know what, they might call this a breakout trade. So if you're a breakout trader is someone who waits for that higher high and takes it long on a higher high. Let's not do that, right? So what you want to do is you want to go long on a higher low. And that's kind of like your first piece of confirmation, not fully confirmed, but first piece. And what I'm going to do here, and this is kind of like secret sauce. I don't know if it's secret sauce or not, but this is my style. So we kind of take these local lows here, right around to 127. And if you want to find like more precise entries, what you do, and admit, if you learn this, it's it's a good thing to learn. You find the most recent lows after you've broken structure. So broken structure meaning that you've put in a higher high. Since this is the last high, this is now a higher high. And what you want to do is you want to find the low, the most recent low, and you're looking left. So what's the most recent low right above the very last low? And that's actually right here. So 131.80. 131.80 becomes what we call like a price of interest. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
So it's not the actual lows, not the most recent lows, but it's the low right before the most recent lows. That's super important. And so that actually becomes kind of this area of like, where is the lowest spot that this could hold this trend? And that's right in here. So even if NVIDIA gets ugly, but if you see NVIDIA right around 132 and you see it kind of like going sideways and then starting to close towards the highs, I think that's a hammer long. Right in here. So this is like a pullback. So I want to see, and then you know what the pattern people are going to say. The pattern people at that point are going to say, this is one of those inverted head and shoulders. And so this is crucial to know, where is your right or left shoulder going to show up before it actually shows up. This is exactly how you do it. It's the same way at the topping formations, just so you know, right? So here's this local top. You look at this and say, if this is the last high, where is the high right before the very last high? It's right here. Watch this. Boom. And then where does this show up? That becomes the top of your head and shoulders. So how do you know where your shoulder is going to be? And a better trader is going to be taking trades in this area, not down here, but up here. And again, it's the same trader that's going to be taking longs down here. I've just drawn a ginormous cluster all over my chart. So I'm sorry.
It looks like a happy face though.
It's gotten messy. But this is technical analysis 200 for you guys. So sorry, it's not 101. But it's the low right before the last low. And then you can invert it if you want to find areas of, anyways, but we're talking about this here. So it's right in here. Does this make sense? And you have a lot of confluence. So this little box, if you see it anywhere down here, this is where you want to get interested. Doesn't mean that just because something's in your spot, you want to instantly hammer it. By the way, you want to look for some stalling action and sideways price action for a minute. That means the stock is breathing and likely that it's gearing up for the next move. And then you want to start seeing it close towards the highs and or locking in the lows in the early hours of trade. So remember, think about that for a second. You want to see the lows being made in the first hour of trade, and you want to see the highs being made in the last hour or two of trading. Right. And that's when you know, okay, so this is either continuing or starting to reverse.
Okay, so then following up from NVIDIA, can we do AMD real quick and get your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, so AMD. We said last time it was 128, something like that. I was on a space, and AMD had, I don't even know what day it was. One of these days, I was like 128 is not going higher, and it literally hit it right here. I think it was just like a super early, crazy pop. It was this day, and it was looking like, oh, the bulls are gonna take over. I'm like, no. And this is where, you know, if you were on our show the other day when we were looking at it, it's like, look, a good bull has to know where the bears are going to show up, and that's exactly where they are. So 128 is where they were, and they still are. I think, you know, the one interesting thing about AMD here is that this 117 level, remember this purple line, that's the 200-week simple moving average. So I will say that this is probably downside target acquired for the near term, very near term.
Yeah, because we got to 115 on Friday.
Yeah, we did. Actually, it was kind of like below that in the pre-market. I swear to God, I saw it like 110s or something in the pre-market, but I must have been dreaming. I don't know. But it was right into this kind of area. So Does that mean that that's the low? I don't know, right? This is still making consistent lower lows and lower highs. So this is not out of the woods yet. But does that mean it's done going down? No, it could digest this for a little bit. And so what's true about technical analysis is that when you think about the stock market like just a group of buyers and sellers, right? If there's not enough people willing to put net new shorts on AMD here, that's going to show up like they can't push it down lower. And so what I would say is that if they can't break it down one more time, it has to go higher to entice more sellers. Just like if a stock can't go higher with the current investor base, it needs to go lower to entice more buyers. It's the same thing, just inverse. So this is where the bears are kind of sleeping right now, around 128, and then it remains to be the level. If they can get above that, and then have to go higher, which could be in this like high 130s up to 140 type of area. But for right now, I think, you could be.
Is the chart bullish or bearish to you right here?
Neutral. Again, so this is like I was saying, a lot of stuff is setting up like it's set up. They're not swing trade setups. This could go either way right here. We're going to find out probably by the end of the week. It's SMH as a whole is the same exact thing. So SMH, this is not my SMH chart. Where's my SMH chart? There are areas in the market that I would be much more interested in. Excuse me. But this is a semi sector. And, the sector is, as sideways can get. It's right at that pinnacle point of volume that it wants to decide one way or the other. So this can get really choppy. So the setup can look super bullish one day and then super bearish the very next day and flip flop. And it's very fickle, right? Like the market's in a very fickle type of situation. So semis, I would pay attention. I would know that like for the broader market to really do well, I think it's important for the semi sector to broaden out and show some relative strength. But we're also very neutral. So this is important.
The market's got to kind of make a decision here. Do we want to go up or down?
Yeah, it's got to make a freaking decision. It's shit or get off the pot. That's what semis are doing, right? So right now it's sitting on the damn pot, dude. It's on the pot for way too long. So something's gonna happen. But it's you don't need to jump in front of this, because if it starts going, it's gonna be pretty obvious within a couple days. But if you jump in too early, you could get smacked really hard coming in on a day like today, where maybe AMD looks really bullish, but then tomorrow she opens up down $5 on something random. So you're in exactly that type of situation.
Okay, before
reading the paper.
Yeah, reading the paper. Before we take your victory lap on MSTR, can we do SOFI?
Well, I mean, I can't take a victory lap on MSTR until I close it. SOFI. So January effect. SOFI goes into the IWM category, and so I'm still long SOFI. I want to see how the market hashes this out. SOFI is clearly in price discovery mode. So this is a daily setup on SOFI. This is one of those like perfect megaphones. So megaphone is like a broadening formation. We found one of these most recently on Meta, and we can review that if you want. This is going higher, period, end of story. We knew it was going higher when it held $15, 14. The reason is because if you're at so a broadening formation is a form of price discovery where the market's deciding where this really belongs. And what you get, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you read this, is that you can get multiple series, multiple higher highs and lower lows. So that's what's hard about this type of setup, is that you can get, and they they trade like this. Forgive me, but they do trade like this.
Yeah.
And so this is a tough spot. So I think that SOFI is going higher here now, but and to stay long as it's over 15. The issue is that we need to get over this halfway point, which is right around 16. Yeah. So if we close over 16, I will say SOFI will make new highs, but those new highs may not hold, and that sets up for exhaustion. If that makes sense. It sets up like this, and you might retest those $16 levels again.
Yeah.
So this is a tough chart to trade. This is how it works. Let's just show it to you really quick on Meta. So Meta was the same thing. So expanding range, higher highs and higher lows. Oops, sorry. It should be over here. Where's my one of these? I just feel like this is a little bit off. Why is this off? Oh, that's why.
The next catalyst for SOFI as well is, I mean, it's going to be earnings. They got to really give a good earnings for this.
Yeah. So this was that Meta chart from a few weeks back, and it was like 555. I was like, this is going higher. This is going higher. And this is that, a series of higher highs and lower lows. But if it doesn't like hug this top line up here, like trade up and make a new channel, you're at risk of at least going back to the center line, which was exactly where Meta went. And if you fail this, then you really are at risk of going back to the lows before you can make new highs.
Right.
But rest assured, this is very normal market movement. It's a form of price discovery, right? Again, more advanced technicals, but it's a form of price discovery. It's not like super bearish or bullish, but the way that you trade this is you really want to trade one of three spots, right? Trade the edges, the center, or two ways, either the edges or the center, and that's it, right? So the longs were over here, right? And then if you wanted to trade short, you could have traded short up here down to that center line, which I didn't. But now we're at like this same exact area. So we want to see this 585, which is that center line here on Meta, essentially the consolidation 580 80s right here. So you can see this right where that reaction point is. It's holding. So it's constructive. This is not bearish at all. As long as it's holding this 585, but so back to SOFI. So
I have a question on SOFI. You're talking about price discovery. What was your technical interpretation of SOFI hitting $17? Was that price discovery as well?
No. So at $17, you're like here.
I think it was 17.15. I think was the high.
No, I like this. It was just looking good. Oh, what just happened? Oh no. So at $17, it just looked good, right? It wasn't until we get that lower high, and this is FOMC day, right? So high, lower high here, and then you have the big exhaustion day. So I think it just goes in the rest period. I would still stay long though, as long as you're over this point right here, 15 and change. Like just call it 15 for round numbers. I think this goes higher, and I think you make a new high, which is going to be confirmed if you have a close over 16. Where we are on the chart long term is that this is just on its way, right? It happens to be at a big area of congestion right in here anyways. So having this kind of chop, to me, it doesn't really bother me, right? But you can see hey, look, if we lose the 15s, then we could be in for a bigger dip down to the 14s. Which if that's big or not, that's up to you, right? So that's where I would say, okay, if we lose this, fine, we might be in for this kind of price discovery mode and needs to dip a little bit lower, again, to attract more buyers and eventually push it higher. My concern, what I was getting to here is that this, you know, this rate story of like 2 cuts versus 3 kind of puts a weird dynamic into the lenders, right? Because we want the lenders to have like lower rates. And they might not.
It's just they're trading volumes for margins at this point.
Yeah, yeah. So, but we need to see more volumes, and the problem with that is that's going to show up in PCE, right? Consumer expenditures, retail sales, things like that. Those are the things we also don't really want to see going higher for inflation. So that's the dynamic that I'm kind of in. It's in a bit of a quandary where, like, okay, a discovery scenario, price discovery mode on SoFi, when you think about it, it's going to make sense, right? I think the chart's bullish, but again, this whole process of discovering a new valuation could take time. How much time? I don't know. But like I said, you either play like the center line that it's bouncing up off. We're going to get a daily close over 16. We know it's going to make a new high. But when it makes a new high, I think that's a place that you could take some precaution at, right? So however you do it, right? Whether it's hedging with some protective puts or selling some out of the money upside calls near term, that's where I would get protective, if that makes sense. Or taking some profits and trying to reload. That's usually the best bet.
Okay, can we talk about MicroStrategy?
MSTR. Did you sell anything, Amit? You posted you're like down 6 figures the other day.
No, that was because Jay. No, I didn't sell shit, but my options fucking went kapooey.
Dude, I honestly panic sold a couple things. I was
really? You sold something last week?
Dude, I sold the worst thing too.
Hold on, let me guess. Like, no, let the chat guess. Let the chat guys, what do you think? Give us a hint. Don't tell us. Give us a hint.
I'm upset.
You're really upset you sold it. Is it a triple digit stock or it's below triple digits?
4 digits.
Oh, that narrows it down. It's
I know.
It's either Mercado Libre, Costco.
No. I bought Mercado Libre. I bought Mercado Libre on the dip.
What the hell is 4 digits? Wait, 4 digits it has to be above.
I see it up there. Vim got it.
Vim got it? What is Bitcoin?
No, you got it twice. Ganja Mandan got it. Rocket Lab, dude.
How is that 4 digits?
4 letters.
I said digits, not letters. I was talking about the number of okay, whatever.
Bro, it was so stupid. It was so stupid too, because like I'm bummed. But I don't know if you can tell I'm bummed or not. I'm fucking. This is so dumb.
Why did you go Rocket Lab? What was the logic behind that?
Because I had that small position and I started to make it bigger, right in this 22 area. And I don't know if you guys remember, but I could have the greatest levels, which I did, by the way. But like the whole market was selling off, and I was like, I really wanted this 2130. Retest of that prior all-time high, and swear to God, if it didn't give exactly that, and I was just in the cleaning up portfolio mode, that I didn't realize that's exactly where it was. And I was like, I just add to this, my ad instantly went negative. I'll just flush it out and I'll get a better entry later. Pff, stupid.
Well, hold on. I want to dive deeper into this because you said you were cleaning up the portfolio. Is that because you thought, oh crap, we might get like a 10% correction? You want to raise cash? Is that the logic?
Oh yeah. Well, I'd been cleaning up the portfolio for like better part of 3 weeks, raising cash anyways. Gotcha. And like 3 weeks ago, I told you if it wasn't for FOMC or CPI, I think CPI, I would have been mega short. So yeah, and I don't know that we're out of the woods yet. So yeah,
well, maybe it's not the worst sell. You never know. I mean, you're gonna see the next month.
I mean,
wait, where'd you sell at 20?
Dude, I don't even want to. I don't even know. I don't even. Okay, you're gonna make me do this.
Where did you sell Rocket Lab?
How do you? I need to go to monitor account statement.
Let me go to the monthly. We bottomed at 21.21 last week.
We bottomed at the buy, dude. It's fucking stupid. 24.10.
Well, you have a good average.
It's not horrible.
Yeah. I mean, you're in.
Oh, it was right here. It was right here. Like 24. 10.
The thing about the chat, I asked the chat, "Hey guys, are you?"
It was right when it was losing this. I was like, "Rip." Maybe it wasn't. Yeah, so I think I sold it that day, and then I didn't buy it. That's what it was. Because this is on the 18th. Yeah, so I sold it this day, and I wasn't paying attention for the dip of the 16th.
Yeah, dude. Right? The thing about the chat is most people in the chat pretty much said that they didn't sell anything because they didn't believe in the FOMC sell-off. So most of like the community on the chat that day, most people said they were buying, they were not selling. So most people still held up. They did not think the
yeah, no, because I was already bearish skewed anyways.
Exactly.
Ahead of that, and I was like, okay, so 5% was my base case, right? And so because that was my base case, I'm like, this could get a lot worse because we could so the market likes to overshoot, right? So it could have overshot to the downside. What I'd say is like if the market prices out all rate cuts for 2025, it's going to be ugly as hell, but that's going to be a like hammer the table buy.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so going back to MSTR, what are your thoughts on this thing?
So MSTR, my thoughts really, I mean, so just technically speaking, we couldn't get over the 410, right? And then this area here, 370. So I was short pretty instantly. This is my first short that I put on FOMC day was MSTR.
I think you doubled down on the short after we had a Twitter Spaces and someone came on the show.
I did. No, it's not double down, right? So I closed the short when we started to go back up, and we're just retesting this morning, right where this prior support was. Somebody tweets, I posted something, and somebody replied, it's like, but it's at support. I'm like, sure, that it is. But to me, this was the support that we rejected in the pre-markets today. So this is pretty basic technicals. You know, and again, if I do the same kind of thing where it's like, if this was the last low, the low before the very last low was 336. So today, even as it, and maybe this changes tomorrow, but as it was failing here, to me, it really needed to close over this. Tomorrow, could it bounce over it? It totally could. But I think this area in the 370s, if it can't get back over, this is technically in trouble. Now it's MSTR. So can it blast through all of this in a single day? Yeah, it could, right? So it's not, I thought about making it 6-7 figure position. I'm like, but I don't know.
You're going to do a 7-figure short on MSTR.
I mean, because we were just like, it was weird. Like everybody's so bulled up on MSTR. I'm like, okay, this is stupid. I mean, I've always been in the mindset of like, look, I'm very long Bitcoin in general, blockchain as a whole. I'm a bull there, but you know, I've also been around long enough to know that maybe the sentiment is a little overheated, because we talked about this and I took my victory lap last week, whereas like this needed to be the local lows. This is Bitcoin 30-minute chart. So that 94 needed to be, and this double bottom, if you will, needed to be the lows. Then, and it was near term. The problem is this FOMC situation just kind of took the whole thing out of the woodworks, right? So I'm, you know, first and foremost, I'm done selling Bitcoin. I'm never selling Bitcoin. It's over. I'm not going to sell my Bitcoin. But can Bitcoin pull back significantly from here? Yeah, it actually could. It's possible.
But okay, why? The Trump's got this crypto reserve. You got Gensler gone. Why could Bitcoin pull back?
Because the market sentiment is overly bullish for this whole continuation rally. And as much as I'd love to say yes, it's ideal. It's not. It takes a bit of a breather midway, right? And I think Bitcoin dominance did start to come back again. So we saw last week, I think it was, said, hey, look, chill out on the alt season thing because Bitcoin dominance is coming back. Just because Bitcoin dominance is coming back, it doesn't mean that Bitcoin is going higher either, right? And so there's this weird thing in the middle of alt season. It's a regular thing that everything can take a big breather from time to time. And the big breather could kind of like wash out weak hands, if you will. But it's got to chill, and it's got to chill at this 90 level. Like I said, I'm not going to be selling any Bitcoin, but it doesn't need to go higher. We're sitting on the 50-day simple. The second that we lost this 100K and we really breached these last local lows, the problem is that it's a near-term bullish structure is no longer intact. What is intact is another price discovery type mode. And we've lost the trend, if that makes sense. So this trend, local trend, is gone. And you see that rejection right here. So that does take us down to this 50, but like 91, give or take, right in here. Honestly, so if we could have, for the technical case to make new highs and continue on its trajectory to 120 for January, it needed to hold this 95K level, and we're below it right now. It's a bit of another double bottom, but to me, it's like that's yet again we are in digestion, so it needs to get its bearings and reestablish its trend. So it's rough. It's not falling out of bed, but like I said, I'm never selling my Bitcoin, but I will. If I wanted to hedge a Bitcoin portfolio, I will be short MSTR, and that's kind of what you're seeing right now.
Well, this is horrible for the Bitcoin miners as well, I imagine.
I don't know, right? Like, so I haven't really been paying that much attention. I think, the MSTR, we talked about it on and off. Like, how special is it now? Does it deserve the 3x multiple on NAV? Being part of the NASDAQ, I don't really think matters. I definitely don't think it's a bull case, right? Like, I definitely don't think it's a bullish scenario.
Well, Saylor used the NASDAQ ETF inflows today to do another at the money and raise more money to buy Bitcoin. So he used the ETF inflows that were like legally obligated to buy the stock to dump more stock on them, which is smart, I guess, but it's
no, it's smart. It's smart on his end for sure. So like, here's the question. Like, so if I think there's a possibility of Bitcoin falling below the 50-day, well, what I would say is that could be as deep as sub 80 on Bitcoin.
Oh boy, that's not gonna be fun, dude.
It's not.
That's gonna be bad.
Do I care? No, right? But right.
I mean, look, if you're leveraged Bitcoin or MSTR, that's going to be nasty if it gets below.
Right. So, and I don't think that someone made a comment. I don't think market makers have anything to do with this, right? Like, you guys know me. But this is tough. Can it bounce up? Look, I'll say this one more time. I might cover my shorts, but this is 103 right here. So remember, like we did that whole exercise before. If it bounces up and it makes a lower high in this 103 area, I'm going to be right back hedged again. Just saying. So
it's if it gets to 103, you think it could come back down all the way to the 90s if we bounce up there?
It would still be in this 80s level,
right?
If not 70s. So
dude,
that's this. It's this election situation. So this is what we call like a fair value. I'm not bearish. I'm just realistic, if that makes sense. Whereas
no, you're bearish. You're bearish, bro. I can feel it in your voice. You're bearish. Like,
I'm not.
You're not bullish. That's for damn sure.
I'll be bullish. Like, if I get this at 70, I mean, maybe I'll buy some. I don't know.
I'll be bullish if it drops 30%. Yeah. Like,
oh, hell yeah. But I think it would still base out, right? But that said, this needs to get its act together immediately. And I hope that I'm wrong. But even so, I won't be mega short up there. What I'd really be looking for is if we get something like this, right? I'd be looking for a pullback like that. And then that's what a fail would look like, if that makes sense. So even though I'm saying, hey, look, up here, it'll probably be an exhaustion moment, and it might even look kind of scary, we would be looking for something like this, like literally exactly this kind of price action to invalidate the shorts and continue on higher. So that's what that would need to look like. That could play out over the course of weeks, though. So it's something I would just be patient with right now. You're not breaking down. Not at this moment. Bitcoin doesn't have like circuit breakers like a stock market. So like it could be the middle of Saturday night. If people, so my biggest concern is if people are so gung-ho and like, okay, the next holiday is going to be Christmas. And if we don't rip face to the upside Christmas Eve, are they just going to say, well, screw it, I'm going to sell this for now and wait for the next holiday? Like, what's that about? Like, but that has happened. And I've been around for it, which isn't fun.
Well, this thing that sucks is Sailor's been buying healthily above 100, high 90s. I mean, if that thing drops to 70, he's going to look pretty stupid. I'm not going to lie. Even though long term, I think he'll look smart. But
yeah, I agree. But in the near term, where does that put MSTR? And here's the whole thing about that is that puts MSTR sub 250, just to be clear.
Yeah. Yep.
And so that's gonna be this gap down here. I think it's 225. So this is a clean gap, 270, sorry. So 270. But the 200.
Dude, if we're below 70, I think it goes below 200. I think everyone gets scared at that moment and they get the hell out.
Yeah, and this is one where it's like, okay, if you're still taking profits for the end of the year, you're probably in really green territory. So why not, right? And so that was one of my first reactions, and I'd say reaction because it wasn't like a whole lot of thought process into it. The first reaction was like, okay, what's up the absolute most egregious amount that I would really be concerned about losing if I was long? It was MSTR. And so that's why it was the knee jerk boom. All right, that's my go-to right now. But yeah, and then it gapped lower. And then this is like initial targets acquired in the pre-market, which was shitty. Not gonna lie, because I didn't make anything here, but because it gapped up so quickly, I'm like, oh crap, right back to entry. I didn't lose anything, but it's just the same. But yeah, I think
Jeremy says right here, can you trust technicals on MSTR with it being a Bitcoin proxy?
Yeah.
Okay, why?
We've been doing it for the last month, and they've been working out. I mean, we're forward testing right now. This is right here, right? This is, we've been talking about 420 area being like the local overhead supply, and you can just see it. Like it's just black and white, right? This was that prior support. Now this prior support has become resistance.
Yeah.
If he's issuing, like I know how MSTR acts, right? But like Sailor needs Bitcoin to go back up over 100. If Bitcoin goes back over 103, so if Bitcoin goes back to 103, it actually might even breach these highs just because he's got more on the balance sheet now.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And it might even be into that 470s level, which from an equity perspective is probably not horrible here either. But this is, just for clarity's sake, that's like 45%. I'm not trading MSTR, the underlying right now. All I did was I bought some MSTZ, which, every time we've talked about MSTR, I'm just like, okay, I'd rather be hedged. If you're going to be long MSTR, have at it, right? Like I get it. But I would be hedged with some MSTZ, either call options or equity, because I don't own MSTR, never really have. I just bought MSTZ, the underlying. But if I did own MSTR, I would use call options on MSTZ as my hedge.
Right.
That way it's because this is only 2 to 1. which sounds great, but you don't have to put 50% of your allocation into a inverse as a hedge. That's no good.
Depends on Bitcoin, I guess. Depends on Bitcoin.
Yeah, it does, right? So like MSTR, it could bounce here, very possible, but it's not back up unless it's over that. It's like 400s, give or take. And this is a very fast moving underline. So I may just like close out completely and then reload. Who knows? It's not something I need to sit in forever. I'll just know very quickly whether or not this is a good entry or it's not.
Okay, can we do Google?
Googs. Can I pick a couple later or no?
Pick a couple later.
Is that allowed?
Oh, so it stocks? Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. Google looks okay. So it was this 191. I think I said it was. I had some calls entry for March at 175 down here, which I ended up closing right here when it failed like 191. They were like, it was so fast profit. I wasn't even intending to have that. It breached below. So one more time, right? This is what I mean by, the whole market's in a funky situation. This is the last high. The high right before the last high is going to be 198. So if Google can get over 198 and hold, then I think you're good, right? But I don't want to be opening net new today at 191, thinking that it's going to make new highs, because it could easily, do this and come back in to that 175 area, which is my biggest concern right in here. So I think, the whole move on Willow, I think is great, potentially even justified, and the quantum names, they're up and down, right? So like your Rigetti's, and whatever, or actually they're still making highs. Like they're very volatile, but it's just barely, they're back at the highs. So there's still interest here. I mean, if this kind of stuff, and again, not saying that I'll just use something that's better. If there's still interest in this stuff, then there's still interest in the Willow piece. I think realistically, it's like a decade too early.
I think the quantum stuff was just a Trojan horse to get people to realize that Google's valuation was cheap. I don't think it actually matters.
The market knew the valuation of Google was cheap.
No, but they need to be reminded. A little nudge. Okay.
You're right. All right. It's a nice little reminder. But this is a high risk entry long. If you were to get long net new on Google here now, it's high risk, very high risk, because you could just make that lower high and boom, come back down. So it's the same thing. I hope that the lows are in. So we'll say it like this. So if this is that last low before the very last low, that's 187. Interesting number for Google. So
wait, why is that interesting? 187.
187.
Why is that interesting?
You guys will have to tell them later. But anyways, so like if that kind of pullback in base, this is a better interest. Like this is a better area of interest here. Lower risk entry long, if that makes sense.
187 bus? What the fuck is what? 187 equals murder?
Yeah, it's a code.
This
is how you know that Amit is super young, because he doesn't know what Sublime is. You guys clearly.
I have no idea. I was like, what's wrong? Dude, I want to buy Google next year. So if it gets to 187, I will buy some Google.
Oh yeah, no, I think look, if you really want to buy Google, if you see it at 175, you know that you're discounting all of Willow, right? We know that Willow is completely priced out at 175. So 175 or lower, you know that you're getting Willow for free in that valuation. I think that's crystal clear. So as close to that as you can get is ideal. 187, is where you'd want to see it stop. Does that mean it stops there? You would. It's a price of interest, like I was saying. Like it's an area of interest where you want to watch it, and then you want to see it continually make the lows in the morning session. And by the end of January, here's the thing with the Santa Claus rally is like, if we do get a Santa Claus rally, more often than not, the market's up for the year. If we don't, more often than not, actually, the market's down for the year. So a lot of people are kind of watching that at the same time.
Did you hear my High School Musical take at all?
What?
Did you hear my High School Musical take last week?
No, dude. I'm just shocked that you don't even know who Sublime is right now.
I'm not even gonna re-articulate the take, but I don't know. It is what it is.
It's official. It's official.
It is what it is. Okay, can we do Hood?
Hood,
which is holding up nicely, even though Bitcoin's.
First of all, Hood was like my first buy. Because I was like, I don't even care, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't necessarily my best buy. Like the new position for me was Mercado Libre, which I did not own before I took the opportunity to buy it. Hood I just increased. Amazon I just increased. But I think Hood is fine, right? Like it's the same thing. Like we want to see this. Hood does this. The only thing I have with Hood is that. So first of all, I think this eventually goes much higher, but I hate that they get tied in with crypto. So if Bitcoin fails, I think we see this 32, 33 on Hood, which I'll buy more, right?
Agreed.
And that's gonna line up right here. So I think Hood, you're like stay long, be long. The first dip was very close to this level anyways, 33s. So this was my first target back in the day when we first started doing this, I think, on Hood.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, 33.
And so like that's how it works, right? So you get to your target and eventually you kind of get that pullback. That's going to line up with your 50-day simple moving average. And I think, I'm hesitant to say these are breakout trades anywhere. I think the whole market is in this exact situation where it's like digestion of what just happened last week, set up for the following year. If you don't own Hood for 2025, I really don't know what to say. Like, I think that it's gonna be their year, right? Like if this isn't their year, I mean, this is their year for sure, but like they could have it even better next year. But the thing is with Hood is I don't have any intention of selling anymore. So the reason I was just like a knee jerk, okay, I'll reallocate. I had too much cash. First of all, I had a ton of cash. I was like 60% cash. I'm like, money's burning a freaking hole in my pocket right now. What do I buy? And I'm like, okay, well, the things I know that I want for 2025, Robinhood and Amazon. So that was just like, bye, right?
Right.
Bye.
Right. Yeah, I know. I think it'll be their year as well. The only way it's not their year is if the market really takes a dump. But if the market doesn't take a dump, I think we're good.
Yeah, this is their year. So it was really close. It was really close to that 33 right here, just the other day. And as long as this holds and it can kind of like take a minute to breathe. So let's do the same exercise. If you guys haven't figured this trick out yet, I'm just telling you, this is like this is going to be a godsend for you. Look at the last low on your chart. Turn your after hours and pre-market trading on. Look at the last low on the chart, right? Look left, find the low right before the very last low and mark it. And so that's going to be 35s. So as long as this guy is holding this area, I think that's fine. So does that mean I think that it goes higher here now? No. Let's be real, right? Be realistic. Like things are just kind of three directions, right? Kind of just going sideways right now. But this is kind of like my price of interest right here, 35.64 for now. Again, it's just you turn your alerts on. If you want to just right click, set an alert. Okay, cool. On your trading view, I use trading view, it's free. And that's where I'd set it, right? I think we're in a space where like a lot of things are just you're looking at the portfolios and you're rebalancing and you're saying, how do I want to be positioned for 2025? Yeah. Right. And I think that obviously nobody's selling Palantir. Not a lot of people selling Robinhood. A little bit exhausted. Yeah, sure. But I think this can go sideways. So I had short-term options on this. which I closed today. And I just was like, okay, well, I'll still be happy to add leaps on it. And I still have those stupid debit spreads, which are just like waiting to just freaking, I can't close them. They're just waiting to decay to profitability, which I mean,
just let it chill. That's what I've been doing. Just let
it's so frustrating, dude. Because look, you see the trades that I make, right? You see the trades that I make, and it's like I'm like pretty instant gratification over here.
Also, by the way, I don't know if you saw this, but dude, they spent $1 million and they made 5.4 million on gold subscribers last week.
They spent $1 million.
So they had this $1 million gold promotion where they were giving everyone who signed up to gold their split of the $1 million. 120,000 people signed up to become gold subscribers. They paid $45 each, got an annual subscription. Robin would give them $829 each at 1 million divided by 120,000. So they spent $1 million and they got 5.4 million.
It's a really good marketing ROI right there.
Dude, for a finance product, for your customer acquisition cost to be $8?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
and
really
to me,
good
this
ROI.
just means they're innovating on go to market.
Yeah. No, I agree. Right. So, like I said, I like Robinhood. Does it mean that I think it breaks out to all-time highs from here? No. I think that it takes a minute to get its feet, underneath it again. But it does kind of sit in that area of like, okay, of the sectors. So I talked about diamonds being like 10 days in a row, most red closes in a row since 1979. We broke the streak today, just so you know.
Oh, so we weren't negative today.
We were not negative, just barely positive. But officially, we broke the streak. So actually, we broke the streak, I think, Friday. So this is constructive. I think this probably represents the most value in the market. I think if you strictly hold to the January effect, it is the Russell or the IWM, which equally constructive. So remember, the lows. So the little trick, right? Local lows, right? But the high or the low right before the lowest low, you got really close to it today. Really, really close today. So I like that, right? And then it also, we were talking about this. We want to see stocks make the lows when? In the early hours of trade, close towards the highs. Where's the low? Today, it's in early hours of trade, right? So this is the beginning of what you would start to think of as a change in character. So sentiment is slowly shifting here, slow. I actually opened a trade on this for February expiration on IWM. So I closed the leaps. I went shorter dated, and I went with February 230s on this as my kind of like January effect type trade. But diamonds, and somebody asked about Home Depot. I posted a chart about this earlier. I think this was, I actually already took this. This is the worst trade I've had all year. By the way, I took this way early. There's like a stat where like if you buy Home Depot in late December, like in January, you're green about 90% of the time, but it's usually like mid Q2, you'll be green. Believe it or not, even though if you look at his seasonality, it shows that January, December, February are probably like bearish months for Home Depot. Net maybe, but it also bottoms out in this exact same time. So I took the shot early on Home Depot, like way early. I was just looking for like 5% push, and I proceeded to receive a 10% drop. So that was no good. So I don't win them all, But here now, I like it a little bit better, right? So as long as Home Depot is holding this local low and realistically this 380s area right here, I think this could be like value. But healthcare overall, and I mentioned I bought this UNH thing, healthcare as a whole, this is the sector near that 200-week simple moving average. This is a large component of the diamonds. I think, from a bounce perspective, because the rest of the market is in kind of like, let's wait and see mode. This sector and diamonds, like industrials, for right now, I think set up the best for your January effect type trade. Not saying that the Qs and them aren't also looking decent. I think they look okay, but they look perfectly fine for that normal 1.5% run. On the other hand, some of these beaten down names look like coiled springs to me if they start to turn around and you start to see new money deploy. They look they look like the bounces could be a lot stronger near term.
Speaking of healthcare, can we do HIMS?
Oh, dude, I bought it. I bought it today. Just a little bit.
By the way, real quick before we do HIMS, we do have some breaking news here. NVIDIA invested in XAI.
Oh, nice.
So now NVIDIA is going to hold.
Well, it's good. They're giving them so much money. We normally do that kind of stuff, though.
It makes a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
NVIDIA might as well prop them up, right? So
absolutely. They need to make sure that that XAI has the cash to keep spending on their NVIDIA chips.
Bullish NVIDIA. All right, HIMS. Why'd you buy HIMS?
I liked it because it was similar to the Rocket Lab where like, okay, we retest this high right here. It had kind of undercut it and it was holding the 50-day today. And honestly, I'm just like, we talked about it last week. I'm like, okay, well, so like GLP-1s I think are becoming more readily available for like the mass market. It's not necessarily Lilly in them. Like Lilly's not looking great. Like the prices are coming down. Novo was like sold off like crazy the other day on the approval, which may have been, again, overdone it kind of moment. But the more I thought about it, I was like, look, I'm not going to be long CVS, right? Like that's just not going to happen. I'm not really realistically going to be long Weight Watchers because there's just way too much debt. But Rose not a publicly traded company. So I just took a little shot here. Nothing crazy, just kind of like placeholder, whatever. But I liked the setup. I liked the area. I thought it was a like low risk, high reward type of entry. So I went for it. And I was like, okay, well, I'll watch it, see how it goes into 2025. Maybe this could be a winner. Maybe it's a speculative winner, but like they're profitable. I don't think that Amazon's really going to massively disrupt them specifically. If anything, it's probably helpful to them. Yeah, I went for it. Not in size, right? Like if I take the time and I watch it, look, I think as January comes around and you start to deploy a little bit here, a little bit there, you're going to find out quickly who your winners are. And then I will eventually just kind of like, consolidate into those.
Okay, I think that's fair.
Bitcoin's bouncing. I'm probably gonna wake up red on my MSTR already.
Are we bouncing? Hold on, where are we at?
We're at the 50-day. It held it.
Oh, we're 94.6.
It held it.
Not bad. Okay, can we do Square?
So this was one that I trashed really quick. Mostly because I do have real concern about the crypto situation right now. I'm just a little, there's so many new people into the crypto space of it where it's like, I don't think they really understand, like, it doesn't have to happen 100%. Yeah. I just feel like if it doesn't, they're going to be pissed. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys, can you just like have a little patience?
I mean, when Fartcoin goes up 1,500%,
yeah,
people don't have patience for Bitcoin,
dude. So Square needed to hold the 94s. It was holding it, and then it lost it on FOMC. And I just took FOMC as, like I said, it's kind of like, okay, this could get ugly. I may add it back. This is one where I would add back. But the thing about Square is like, I don't have like Square to me is a trade, right? Whereas like if it gets meaning like if it gets to my target, I'm gonna sell it, guys. Right? Like I'm gonna sell it. Hood gets to my target, I'm probably not gonna sell it.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So I think it's the conviction piece. I think it's good. but it's also, it needs to show me a little bit, right? So could it come down a little bit more? Sure. Like, and it wasn't like I was super green on it. I was green, but not like crazy green. Here. So like $80, as close to $80 as you can. If I see that again, I will add it back, which is about where I entered last time. Or I will wait till it's above where I sold it, meaning like it's either doing this or like it's dipped and done that, like this. It does that, and I get that entry right in here, or it bounces and kind of like does this, and it's above where I sold it, and I reload it here. So this is a weird one where I'm actually more comfortable buying higher than where I sold it, if that makes sense, just because I want to be sure that, hey, look, all systems go and everything is intact.
Right.
But my thesis in terms of like the most undervalued, crypto play actually doesn't change, right? So I'm not changing that thesis at all. It's just the fact of like, I need to make sure that this is in an uptrend, because it could be going sideways for a very long time. And you guys probably know me by now. It's like, I find opportunities left and right. So I don't want to have a ton of cash being held up in one equity while I'm waiting for something to happen.
No, I think that's fair. Steve called in today and he said he's officially buying Square. He likes it from a fundamentals perspective. So
I do, right?
Yeah.
I do. It's just like, it's like, does it happen here and now? It's like, I'm not in a huge rush. I like it. And like I said, if I see it as close to 80, if I see it near 80 or below the 50-day. So I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but like, I like to buy things below their 50-day simple moving averages, which is weird, right? To most people, because like, here's your 50. And most people are like, oh, okay, well, it's got to be above the 50-day to be in an uptrend, right? And I'll be like, whatever. So this is the white is the 20-day, blue is the 50. So I see this happening. We've talked about this more times than I can count, but now below the 20 is like, we're going into this congestion point where I do think that, hey, look, things can get a little squirrely here. And we'll probably end up breaching and do something like this, where like, this is going to be the 50. Sorry. My art skills are mediocre at best, and that's the 20. So I may wait in the meantime, and I'll see Square like do this kind of thing and go sideways for a bit, and then there could be this moment like this here, right? And so this setup to me is ideal. It's still going to take me over to my initial entry, which is right in here. But what this is it looks like, oh, here, this looks like impending doom. You reject the 20 below the 50. All the technical people are like, oh, it's in a bear trend, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be over here patiently waiting for a higher low below the 50-day. So if the blue is the 50-day simple moving average, I'll let it flush out. And then when I get a higher low over here, which is probably going to line up to like 82s, 83s, and I see it start to push higher off that, that's when I'll pounce, right? So I'd like to wait and see a higher low below a 50-day simple moving average. And I think that's going to set up for this type of moving average type squeeze, which is right now, again, we're converging. The 20-day and the 50-day are getting tighter. So you guys know by now, that means that we're going into digestion or consolidation.
Right.
And then I think it's going to go sideways for a bit and then get flushed out at some point. And then once that gets flushed out, I'm going to enter on that higher low, ideally below the 50-day and the 20-day. You could either do this one or two ways. You could do this, and this is not conventional. This is different stuff. This is unconventional. You'd either do it like this, go along here, or if you want to be even a little bit more safe, you could do it when it's coming up off the 20 into the 50 and then be good to go there. So those are one of two scenarios that I do like Square for sure. Fundamentally, thesis is not changing. I think it's the most like undervalued, under the radar crypto play, but crypto is a little sketchy here now for me.
Okay. Rob, thank you for the $10 super chat. Jason, this is for you, giving Palantir a price target of 120 last time.
Yes, true story. True
So,
story.
There you go. Thank you for that.
If that goes, I mean, that's where it's happening. It's 120. But anyways.
Yeah, I mean, if it goes, there's a chance.
Look, even this consolidation, can we do this? If this does break out for you guys, just this consolidation here takes you to wait. I mean, what's your reaction going to be when you get $90 closes on Palantir, dude?
I mean, dude, we're already, I mean, I don't want to say we've normalized 80. It's been 2 days, but I mean, we're holding 80. Like, that's already fucking, I mean, dude, when we see that 100, like, we know it's going to happen eventually, but when we see it, it's going to be wild.
I forgot who it was. Maybe it was one of your guys, and they're like, dude, I'm super deep in the money on these Palantir leaps. What do I do? And I was like, totally nonchalant. And I was like, look, dude, just take some profits and roll up to the $100 strikes on your leaps and keep the trade on. I would say that again, right?
Momentum is there. Momentum is there. Can we do ENPH?
Someone was talking about solar the other day. Today, I think it was. I wasn't even watching these. Am I glitching? Sorry.
Very good.
Oh no. Oh, dude. So not something I was looking for, but this, I believe it was last week, is exactly what we were talking about watching for if you wanted to be long ENPH. I mean, this was exactly the move that we talked about looking for on ENPH. You were going to hit it here, take profits on your short puts, but if you want to see it pull back and hold, it's literally, this was literally the level 65.50. So whoever was asking about ENPH, yeah, go back to last week or whatever it was. But this is picture perfect. Again, so what has to happen is that this local high of 75 needs to actually breach. It's okay. It does. If you get a close over 74.70, I think it happens like that very next morning. And you probably get up to 80s like this. Like this could get a little choppy. I think you kind of breach like this, but pull it back. And then you chop like this. And then you get a day that's like super strong and you get a close like right here, 74.70. That very following day, you probably gap and go like nasty, full blown day, just straight up, not even to the right, just straight vertical. But it doesn't hold. And then it goes back down and you go into this kind of trajectory like that. So this is what this looks like. So my point is low before the high, like the last low, anywhere in here to hold this momentum, which is why that little dip is right there. Constructive, but it's like you got to take this in small chunks or continue to sell puts.
Right. Okay, can we do Uber?
Uber, I was thinking long, still thinking long. And it was literally right here. We got to the very bottom of my box. Wow, dude. That's the very bottom of my box.
I mean, if it doesn't bounce from here, then I don't know when it bounces.
So the calls we were looking at were what? March 75s. I think maybe you could go a little bit lower. Maybe Feb 60, maybe Feb 70s. Let me see. And I was thinking,
I just feel like eventually the Tesla like headlines will come down a bit, and then people will be like,
yeah.
Why do we sell out Uber?
Yeah.
Right?
Am I on the right? March 75s. Oh no, maybe I was looking at March 70s. What the hell one was I looking at? So I see someone maybe trading for this right now. Do you guys do debit spreads?
Well, I'm not long Uber.
You do debit spreads.
I would if there's any attractive.
Let me give you this.
But again, I don't do these 3 months. I do 2 years out, bro. I give myself a lot of time for these.
It's ridiculous.
But again, you understand how to get in and out quickly on the technical.
Options
I
are
need
my
time.
sauce, right? Like no, it's not even quickly. It's like I understand the dynamics of the pricing, right? So,
But you'll get out within a day, dude. I'm not
on a
trading
spread, but so if the upside here, okay, maybe we do an experiment here, you and me, on a spread. So if the upside target is near 80,
Yeah.
80,
Yeah.
I don't think it really gets like fully out of the box. But a March 2025 70 is a 70 80 call debit spread. We want to pull it up. Where's my phone?
No, I'll just put it up on my phone. We don't have to.
I lost my phone. I need that to get my new AI phone. Okay, I got it. The jacket.
70-80. That's very attractive.
I might do this, dude. I might do this. So March, I'm all typing in March Uber for the channel.
That is very attractive.
I like this a lot. So March 21st, 2025, buying. Are you going to show them the $70 call right and selling the $80 call against it, which is the perfect ratio, by the way, because you're selling something that's 1/3 the price of the $70 call. It's $1.67. Boom. There you go. You got it. You got it. So $1.67. Now, Amit, if you pop that little arrow up, it's max profit $833, break even price $71.67, which is a couple bucks away. This is enough time to, like, your downside's minimal. Look at that risk reward.
Well, the risk reward, it's a 6x if it gets to 80. I think I get scared about is I don't know if by March it'll get there. I don't like 3 months.
It doesn't need to get there, right? So we don't need to get all the way there because I don't think it gets there either. So let's say by late February, this is about $78, right? So by late February, if this is about
no, you're right. It doesn't need to get there to the target. I just still feel like you're on such a time crunch, dude, to make that move happen.
But
I don't like that.
It's a low risk, high reward.
Oh, I agree. But what if it just doesn't move? And then the theta kills your spread. Like that's the part I hate about.
So you give it a time. Do you know how to sell? That's a question. Do you know?
Well, I don't really sell that.
No, he knows how to sell.
No, dude, I just don't like being under the time crunch of having 90 days for this to work. I hate that.
No. Okay, so here would be the plan, right? If you were to trade this as a plan, because I think that you and I at least agree that Uber is a trade, not necessarily an investment, and I think it's just a little bit overdone. I would be happy taking profits at $5, right? Doesn't have to get to $1,000 net value. If I got halfway there,
yeah, that's fair.
So let's say I buy 5 of them. Okay, hold on. We're gonna do so. This is a trade plan, just so you know. So if I buy 5 at $165 each, so it's $825. If I sell 3 of them at $2.75, if I agree beforehand to sell 3 of them at $2.75, I have no risk on the table. I pulled all my principal back. And then I want to sell 1 of them at 5 and the other at $7.50, right? So 3 times 275 plus 5 plus $7.50, still not even full value. That's $2,000 on it, 250% return. That's a trade plan, right? And then I don't want this to go below, let's say $1 per spread. So if it gets to $1, I'll close it out.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you're
a loss of 65 times 5.
If you're trading it, I think there's a plan here. But if you want to be long Uber, there's not enough time.
Yeah, so I would risk 325, give or take. I mean, you can't really stop it out at $1. It might open up at 70 cents and you'd be screwed anyway. So,
but in general, you like this range because you think it's putting in a bottom.
I do. but I don't. And the other thing is I don't like I like a spread better on something like this rather than an outright call, because I don't know that momentum is fully there. And I like an out of the money call debit spread with a little bit of time.
Okay, can we do Roblox?
Roblox was looking actually decent. Still okay. High risk entry.
It's rallied nicely the past 3 months, so it is up there. It was in the gutter for a good year, bro.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember Kathy was buying it for a while. And then we got a little bit of a launch pad. The Hindenburg short also didn't matter that much to them. I mean, it mattered for like a day, and then
Yeah, that's true. Stacy Box.
I don't really get the business. Like, I get that kids are obsessed with it, and
This does not look good.
why? Why doesn't it look good?
So long term, I think you're right in here. It doesn't not look good. It looks like it's not going up. It looks like target achieved, target acquired, and you hit this resistance level or supply, if you will, and you just reject it. You're in the process of rejecting. So what does rejection look like? It's not confirmed. I'll give it that. This is so high, lows, almost lower low, definitive lower high today.
I mean, it's
This
up a
is
lot.
tough, dude. This is really tough. So like if people don't jump in right here to push this higher. So I think not even here, it's here, right? So like right here, if they don't jump in here to push this higher, it has to go down to this lower cohort here, which is in the 56s. So depending on your time frame, and this is like 2 weeks to get there or less. I think, is it this? Oh crap, it is.
Loop said he's selling, but if it goes higher, he's gonna yell at you.
Why would he sell?
Well, he's up 100% and he's thinking of selling, and you're sounding bearish. So he's like, all right, I'm selling.
I mean, so it's like this. If you're up 100%, you would take some profits. I never fully enter or exit unless it's Rocket Lab and I'm really stupid, a position. And I only fully exit a position when I'm over leveraged on accident. If that makes sense, because then I'm like, oh shit, I put too much in here. So like it sounds like you've been in this for a while. I would just wait, right? Like just wait a second. And see how this reacts around this $58 level. So, because if they do, I think this is some people's top picks, but I'm saying around 58, if this can hold a higher low, then it has a path to get through this $60 to $64 range. I think this is going to be something it toys with for a while. So it could go up and down like this. This is not an easy stock to trade, honestly. It's been choppy a bit. So like the thing is, like, if you sell, are you going to be fast enough to get back in? Yeah. That's the thing, right? Yeah. And it's like I blinked on my freaking Rocket Lab. It was a good sell at 24, but like I wasn't fast enough to get back in at my 21s, dude. And I'm really sad about it. Like, what a loser.
I think you'll be okay.
You think so?
I think so. Can we do Nike?
I didn't sell my Nike either.
Well, someone did after that earnings call.
Yeah, at the highs, maybe they did. I don't know. This is just low liquidity stuff, but it locked in the lows in the pre-market too, and it held. So unfortunately, I didn't buy more, This is what I'm super patient with. It's a small bet. I have 2 boomer stocks, right? That are smaller positions. The bigger boomer stock position is Boeing. And I think, dude, okay, can I ask you, can Boeing be a 10x in 10 years from here?
No.
Why?
It's fucking Boeing. SpaceX is gonna eat their lunch when it comes to contracts, dude. It's not like
Why is it only going to be?
That would be $1 trillion, right? On Boeing?
Takes all? Could it be?
No. Well, Boeing's what?
Why
80.
not?
Dude, you're saying Boeing's gonna be $1 trillion? Jason, stop. You're trolling. If Boeing goes to $1 trillion, I'll actually eat the bucket of mayo live. I'll eat 15 buckets of mayo if Boeing goes to $1 trillion, dude. Book it right now. 10 years from now, someone hold me.
You don't think this new CEO is smart enough to go out and hire SpaceX employees for Boeing?
Why would they leave? They have SpaceX stock, which is going up.
Maybe that's fair. Anyways,
I mean, I could get to like 250 billion again. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to $1 trillion though.
So I don't think Boeing's a buy right here, right now. I think it was at the lows, but we were talking about Nike right now. So this was my last buy in the low 70s. We're still technically in the low 70s. We're in the mid 70s. So it's meh, right? But this is one where I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be patient with my boomer stocks here. Any type of turnaround in general, look, they take years for the new CEOs to really get a good footing on what's going on and have some fruits of their labor. I mean, good footing on what's going on. They should have an idea of what's going on here now. Look at Starbucks. This Brian is going to have to deal with unions, which he's never dealt with before, right? Like that's going to take a long time, right? And unions freaking suck for publicly traded companies. But look at UPS, right? Blame the unions. It's something that could take a while. So I'm going to be super patient on this. I'm equity. I'm not options. It's just one of those where cool. It doesn't mean that the bottom's in. I like the price action. As in it was bought up pretty quick also, just as quickly as it was sold off. And it ends up closing flat. So I think it still stays in the show me story kind of section, right? Where the new CEO was talking about, hey, look, we have all these new plans. Maybe they work out, but is that the right direction? I think it was talking about getting into big sporting events, things like that, and refocusing on that kind of marketing. I don't know if that's the right way, maybe more innovation stuff, but you got to give them a minute to put the plan together and then implement the plan and then see the plan either work or not work. Tired of getting sneaker drop today. So you tried to get a sneaker drop. Yeah. I mean, but I don't know that sneaker drops are.
That's not the bull case. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the bull case is they beat, right? It was double beat, double skeet, and close flat. So it's the bull case is just kind of undervalued, right? And that a pivot in the marketing world and maybe innovation world more realistically could bring them back to their former glory days potentially.
Yeah. Can we do ELF?
Why you want to look at Rum?
Well, they got
who invested in Rumble today? Was that today?
No. Well, did you see Rumble's chart?
I remember hearing somebody.
They got an investment by Tether for $750 million. That's why they're.
That's what I was. Dude, what the hell is Tether doing as investing in?
Well, Tether is censorship. Well, we'll talk about. Let's do ELF, then we'll get to Rumble because I have some thoughts on that too.
Oh, we talked about ELF before. I think it was okay, same thing. You want to see this kind of lows hold. This is digestion. So this is what I'm saying. It's stay long. You want to be long. Is it out of the woods? No. But it's a different kind of consolidation. It's almost out of the woods. You need to see this get back over that 135 area and realistically over 137s, I think it is. Oh God, I get all these lines on. Let me take this stuff off. So it's this area here that needs to get through. So it's taken one go at it and they couldn't get it through. I think it pulls back, it's pulling back and locks a higher low which is a buy, right? Which could be in this 120s area. Fundamentally, I think it's okay. I don't know if it's an Ulta. I don't know. But yeah, this is constructive. I don't know that it gets back through. You got to be really careful up here. I think this could get rejected and come back in to chop like this until it eventually resolves itself one way or the other. But this would be the lows at 110 for sure. Like structurally speaking, lows around 120 makes sense, but it needs to hold that. I don't think it gets back through all-time highs just yet, unless are you buying makeup for stocking stuffers? I didn't buy any makeup for stocking stuffers.
I'm not, but I imagine other people are, you know.
Maybe.
Okay. Let's do Rumble, but real quick, let's listen to this minute of the CEO talking about the investment, and then we'll do Rumble.
Research a little bit on it. Crypto company, right? That made their fortune with stable coin, but wants to get into other areas. But you know way more. So give us the background, everything that's going on here.
Yeah, so Tether took they're making a $775 million strategic investment into Rumble. For us, this is incredible because we haven't had like a strategic partner such as a company like Tether come into Rumble. So it really is exciting for us in many different ways. They approached us about a month ago, less than a month ago. Yeah, it was pretty quick. Yeah, no, it was very fast. And you know, they expressed that they wanted to buy as much of Rumble as they could. So, you know,
that part was wild to me. I'm wondering why.
Every insider was given the right to sell as much as they wanted, and 70 million shares is the most I could find. So to put it simply, they're helping clean up the cap table in a major way. And then there's going to be a primary component of about $250 million that can help us spur further growth, build the cloud further, bring in more content creators to the platform, things of that nature. So
there you go. Rumble.
I think I'm shorting this tomorrow.
Dude, first of all, does anyone in the chat actually watch Rumble, bro? Do people actually watch? You go to rumble.com. Like, I don't get who uses this thing, dude. I really don't get it.
I know some people use it, but like,
I mean, I know some people that probably use it, but you've got to really hate YouTube. You gotta hate YouTube.
We gave insiders as much liquidity as they wanted, but we could only find so many shares. Because they're running for the exits as fast as possible. Is that not what he just said? He said that we told people you can run for the exits as fast as possible. Did I not hear that?
You did hear that, but the more important part is that Tether sees something that the insiders don't if they want as many.
First of all, what the hell is Tether doing investing in a publicly traded company? That's sus. Tether.
What is Tether for those that don't know? Because you've been in the crypto space for a while. What exactly?
So Tether's been an issue in the crypto space. It is an issue in the crypto space. That's why they have multiple different stable coins. That's why stable coins exist, because Tether was initially the stable coin of the cryptoverse, like holistically. It was like everybody USDT, right? USD is supposed to be pinned to the US dollar, but something about the way that they factor it could be sketchy, right? Because I think it's like manual or some semi-manual thing. So they also have USDC, which is like another stable coin. Now everybody else is coming up with their own stable coins.
And how do they make money?
Just transaction, just like any other market maker. Okay. But the question is whether or not you believe so the whole thing about blockchain is it's trustless. You don't need to trust anybody, right?
There's no counterparty.
Right. But Tether as an organization now acting like a business, you now have to trust Tether. What money are they using?
Yeah, how do they get
$750
million too?
Are they using our USDT to invest in Rumble? It's kind of sus.
Well, okay. So what do you think they want out of Rumble? Because Bitcoin is crypto's censorship resistance, right?
I think they invested in somebody before. I think they invested in like Telegram token, dude.
No, but it seems like they want to invest in platforms that have no censorship. I think that's like that would be the logic, right?
It could be, but but we don't treat Tether as like a company, like with P&L or return or anything like that. It's just like, it just needs to be stable. The thing is, like, if Tether, the organization, makes bad investments, do they go down? I don't want you investing my stable coin, dude.
Yeah.
Stop it. Because now it makes me have to trust you, which is counterproductive to the entire blockchain bear case or bull case. So
okay, what about the chart? What does it look like on Rumble?
Rumble's chart or Tether's chart?
No, Rumble.
Tether.
Rumble.
I was like, bro, Tether's chart looks sideways. Yeah, no, this looks like yeah, dude. I may take a shot at this. I don't know.
I mean, the thing is, they 750 million added to their balance sheet does increase their cash, which is good, right? On their enterprise value, so that could keep them afloat, possibly.
So
80% in a day is
$5 billion market cap on the headline.
Yeah.
They increased.
Yes, essentially.
So for $750 million, they went up $2.5 billion market cap.
It definitely feels a little shorty, but I wouldn't trust shorting it because I don't know. What if Tether has some plans to make a Rumble stablecoin or something? I don't know. Like,
I wouldn't trust them to do shit. I should have to trust them to do nothing. I don't want them doing anything. I don't like that.
It is weird. It's really weird.
Yeah, but anyways, here let's do this for a second. So every time that Rumble's gotten they get squeezy, right? So they get squeezy up into this area. Every time it's happened, it's been short-lived. And you can see like the breakdown area of the last time. About 1250. So I would say, like, if you see it below 1250, it's probably going back into the nines. Just like that, right? So like 1250 to nines. Is that a good short? That's about all I would short it with. That's not like I'm shorting it to zero. So this is, at the end of the day, it's a company, right? It's just a question of whether or not this was the correct move here. I would look at it that way. So I would essentially, and that 1250 is going to take today's pre-market lows or today's intraday low. 1220. We'll call it a line in the sand. Loses 1220. And this area right here. Either this happens or this happens.
Right.
But you know, this is like, even if it's your IV's got to be off the charts. I gotta assume. Yeah, highest IV it's ever seen. So you have to use like in the money type of, or at the money, quick and dirty. Nothing.
I don't think Peter Thiel owns the shares anymore either. He invested in the IPO, I think. I think he sold though, so he's not in this anymore.
Never know.
But I gotta see on that. Okay, can we do Coinbase?
It's ready. Coin. I did sell my coin.
Wow, you're bearish everything, bro. Are you a little Jeremy Grantham here? Dude. Like, you're just getting out of everything.
I had a really good trade at Coinbase over here. I trimmed, but I was equity, and like it lost this. I actually closed this a while ago. I closed this up over here because it stopped going up. So it stopped going up. Now maybe I can look for a reload. Maybe. Let's see.
Well, it's highly dependent on Bitcoin. So I mean,
Yeah.
Bitcoin's above
Interesting.
95. Okay, not bad. Yeah,
Interesting spot.
95. That's what you said. You said we needed 95.
You need at least to hold 95. Just wait till Saturday.
Is Christmas usually bullish or bearish for Bitcoin? Do you know?
It's 50-50. That's why I say you could get like this, like a lot of like anticipation. But if it's like, if they're over exuberant and they don't get what they're looking for,
They crash.
there's just so many weak hands in crypto right now. Like the new money, you know what I mean? New money, people that were like just new in the Bitcoin ETFs. Like I don't know.
Dude, the ETFs had 800 million of outflows last week. People got scared.
Yeah, I mean, so like if they're just so new, right? Like I don't care because I mean I freaking bought this thing at like $1,200, $1,400, $1,400, not $1,000, but like I just. So I've been through the roller coaster. Right?
At what price do you sell? I mean, if it goes to 150, you pick it up.
What price do I sell?
The $1,400 Bitcoin that you bought, do you sell that at 150?
Oh, dude,
200?
Do you not know the story here?
No, what's the story?
I will never sell another Bitcoin ever. I'm done. Like the worst thing I ever bought. So I bought a Cadillac CTS-V. They were like a $100,000 car, right?
Oh boy. I already know where the story's going. I already know.
I bought it with Bitcoin.
Of course you
at
did.
$9,000 a token.
When was this? 5 years ago?
Yeah, whenever it was $9,000 token. That was the last thing I bought with my Bitcoin. Dude, I will never buy.
Wait, so you sold like 10 Bitcoin then to buy that thing?
Well, I paid a little bit of cash, but yeah, it was like, I think it was like 7.
Damn, that sucks.
Dude, I'm telling you how it really sucks. And I just sold it too. And I'm like, it was the worst freaking thing I ever did. Like, it's one thing to say, like, I went sorry, I'm cursing a lot today. I went all over the place in Vegas, cashing out Bitcoin. I can't tell you, Amit, how many Bitcoin ATMs, the BTMs, I straight liquidated, right? Like, I emptied out the Bitcoin ATMs back in the day. Like, they were empty because of me. And I'm like,
goodness, dude.
I'm like, okay, that's one thing, because you could blow $100,000 in Vegas easy, right? But like a car, a car.
Yeah, that car's not even worth $100,000 anymore.
No, dude.
Wait, so why'd you buy the car? Were you bored or something? Like,
No, I needed the car. I needed it. Like, I just wanted a 4-door.
Did you need a Cadillac though? You needed a.
I wanted a CTS V, 550 horsepower. Like, this is for pre-Tesla stuff. Supercharged, the beefiest engine that you could possibly buy. Throw a supercharger on it. That's what a CTS V is. It's like, yeah, it's like a Batmobile.
I'm sorry, but this is ugly,
bro.
This is ugly.
It's a sleeper, dude. It's
My
legit.
Model Y looks better than this.
Bro,
I'm just saying
there she is, right? It's black, okay. But anyways, it did not have the silver grill. I don't know what that's about.
The inside looks nice. The inside looks
it was my little. It's like that one in the middle. Went up. Yeah, it looked like that. Yeah, kind of like it was my little Batmobile, dude. Anyways, it was a cool car until like every little like screw that needed to be tightened was $10,000. You're like, okay, dude, it was one of those.
Well, dude, look, regardless, if you're in the position where you still have a significant amount of Bitcoin and you were able to sell a small amount, which sucks, but it taught you to never sell it. And you have
so the problem is that like net, I sold too much. I sold way too much. So I'm like, I'm not doing it again, right? And back in the day, I was okay with selling it because you didn't have to go public, right? Like, we didn't have to. I knew at some point if I wanted to actually sell like large amounts of Bitcoin, I would have to give up my ID, social security, and all that kind of stuff. I never been there, so like I don't want to do that either.
So
like,
are you buying Bitcoin at these levels, or you're done with your position? You never have to buy Bitcoin?
No, I'm done, right? Like real Bitcoin. If I do buy Bitcoin here now, because I'd have to upload IDs and I have to do all this KYC stuff. And I have to, okay. Am I getting in trouble? I don't know who watches this channel. I'll buy BTC, like great, or like a BITO, BITO ETF. I'll do that stuff and I'll trade around it now. But I will trade around it now.
Yeah. And I think the proxy.
All my crypto stuff is on a ledger. I don't even open that thing anymore, dude. I don't even open it. I'm not even going to worry about it. Everything's written down. I'm just forgotten about it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like also like if you just believe in the idea of the government debasing the dollar, eventually Bitcoin will be worth a lot more. But it'll take time for that to happen. It'll take years.
Yeah. The only thing is like, okay, what is it? Quantum. If quantum computing hacks breaks the crypto, if quantum computing breaks the crypto, yeah, maybe that's maybe.
Okay, so Coinbase, do you think it's bullish?
Oh, yeah. So I think it's had its pullback, and so I think now, if we get one more pullback if Bitcoin pulls back again, I think they all become buys like again. But it's kind of like a wait and see moment, right? So you're right back to the 50-day, right back to this prior consolidation. So it's interesting. What I would say is like Coinbase takes a long time to get its footing, and it may start to pop up again. Let's do this. So here, boom, right here, 270 was that last gap down. Fill the gap. I'd want it to get back over this trend line. So this looks sideways for a bit, but eventually, yeah. I like it in these areas. It's just like it's a little too close to call.
It's all dependent on Bitcoin, bro. I feel like all these stocks, like that's all.
So because Bitcoin's just sitting on its 50-day simple moving average, putting in yet another intraday lower high, by the way. Meaning high.
Meaning MSTR is about to go to 500 tomorrow, baby.
No. Look at. So this is your high. Intraday lower high. This is bearish. Where could another lower high show up? Your only saving grace is this is not a lower low.
I have faith in Michael Saylor. He'll figure it out. He'll make Bitcoin go up.
Maybe he will.
He said 100,000 New Year's Eve party. It would be really awkward if it's New Year's Eve and it's not 100,000.
Yeah. So this whole scenario, it's. Do you see this? So yeah, it looks bullish, like right off the 50, but look again, and it's not, right? Like it's still in a trouble spot.
Yeah, it's definitely not looking pretty.
96. So, I mean, we'll see, right? It's not horrible. Like I said, it's not horrible, but it's really got to be over this. And then, okay, we're probably going to what I say, 103s, 103, 104 area. And then reevaluate. So yeah, if you don't own it, sure, take a shot. But those lows here is like, bummer. I would really wanted to see that be the lows. But Bitcoin's like this, right? Sometimes it'll just breach it only to be like the liquidity grab. Because if there's a lot of technical people like me that are like, oh, this is at risk. Here's the thing. If there are people technical being like, oh, this is super at risk, and then all of a sudden it reclaims it, all those technical people are going to like, boom, hammer long, and you're off.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
100%.
Because we'll flip.
Okay, so guys, we have like 10 minutes left. I want to end it out with rapid fire. So if you guys could spam tickers in the chat, please don't repeat the same tickers, but spam them in the chat, and we'll do a bunch of tickers right now.
Why is he talking about alts popping off?
Yeah, the alts are crap, dude. Dog with hat, freaking fart coin, they're all getting hit. So, all right, let's get into some rapid fire. Jason's Twitter right there in the chat as well. Please make sure to follow Jason on Twitter. Just past 30,000 followers, so congrats to you.
Did I?
Yeah, you're at 30, almost 30.9.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Incredible stuff. All right, so rapid fire, like 30 seconds to a minute per ticker. Reddit. Let's start with that.
Reddit. Yeah, kind of top information. A lot of this stuff basing out, right? You want to see it hold this 20-day. Somewhere around, 158. What a win. Congrats. If you've been long, this thing, that's massive.
Okay.
Breathe.
Riot.
10? Is it 10? Oh, yeah, it is. I think a lot of these, if you are really into the miners, Riot, Mara, sure, I think you could sell some puts, but I would not expect these to really pop off until we're making new highs on Bitcoin. And I mean, that puts you back at 14. So sideways. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, down to just barely under 10.
Lucid.
This thing had a lot of volume coming in recently. Wow, my charts are kind of lagging. Sorry. A little higher, not much. Then take some profits, watch it pull back, and see if it can actually base out a little bit, because you're about to go into this kind of squeeze moment, right? Where you got your 3. So this will get poppy and then droppy, and you want to see it base out like that. Kind of similar to Rivian right now. Rivian looks a little bit better though. So same kind of setup, pops, little drop, little base out, watch for some like healthy structure around 13s, and that'll be better.
Okay. Datadog. Yeah.
I've never been a fan of Datadog, quite frankly. Heavy growth, best to beat product, but I think the product is commodity. This needs to hold 139. So let it pull back, a little bit of breather. It's a little overheated. Watch it kind of come back, see if it can sit somewhere in the mid 130s and then base out and make another leg higher. It's growing.
Okay, grab.
Did you grab any grab?
I bought a lot last week, or a decent amount last week.
So 496, I think this is good. If you're a long-term investor, if I say technical breakdown, we wanted to see this $5 hold. It's not, but depending on your time horizon, that means you want to be buying below 5, right? If you're longer term. If you're trading, you want to wait to see it higher, right? But longer term, you want to be accumulating below 5, probably as close to 450 as you can, but maybe not even that. We'll see. It's not too far away. So 460s, and then see it kind of base out. Hopefully.
Archer.
Did you? Oh, what about this one?
RDW. What's this one again? Oh, Redwire. Yeah.
This was the other space play. Small.
I've had no time to look into them, but this one, guys, is a competitor to Rocket Lab, I believe, right?
Yeah, I was hoping that Amit would, but the setup is nice, dude.
Yeah, I've not looked at them at all.
Weekly looks good. Smaller cap, mid cap, like 1 billion. This setup looks good. Supposedly they're better engineering than Rocket Lab.
If anyone knows anything about Redwire, DM me on Twitter, because this one is putting up some noise against Rocket Labs. I haven't looked into it yet, though. It's much smaller. So if anyone knows, let me know. Archer, ACHR.
This is the electric helicopters or something?
Yeah, eVTOLs. Yep.
eVTOL. Why does it sound like a cleaning solution to me? eVTOL. It does.
That's facts. It does.
Is it, so 775 was that's a good bounce, actually. That's a decent bounce. That was exactly where you wanted to see it bounce. Hopefully that holds. So as close to or below that level as you can for a longer term. Let this wait. So I don't think it breaks out either. Still in consolidation. Maybe another dip to get some more buyers in, but this one very dependent on the January effect. Maybe it goes. Maybe it goes.
TLT.
I guess you could go to 84, but I'm in a put credit spread here now.
You like it? You like this one?
No, I don't think she can go that much lower. I think you're like right in this area. So I think this is just kind of like overdone. Could be wrong, but it's I don't think it's going to matter because like it could go to 84s and that's it. To me, 84.50s. But I took a shot here for something before the end of the year, just before the end of the year. Selling puts.
Eli Lilly.
Lilly, yeah, I think probably better than Novo, but Novo looked a little bit overdone. If healthcare gets a bid, so like again, SMA's kind of starting to consolidate, right? Give this a bit to breathe. Eventually, this looks like it's going to be back on track. But where it goes, at least they have a good pipeline. This is a good spot. If you like Lilly for 2025, this is 760 was it. But if it's over, so you want to wait and get this below 800. If you like it for 2025, you want to be in this below 800.
Okay. ASTS.
Space Mobile. Still doing the thing.
Kind of going sideways, yeah.
Still doing the thing. Little like pop and drop. It's figuring something out, but it looks like traders have gotten a hold of this bad boy and are selling it in the 29s. You need to, whoever's selling here is you reload seller, needs to exhaust. They need to go away. So once this person goes away, whoever this person is, it's free and clear unless whoever's loading down here gets tired first. You're in a battle. So this is the battle. So either this person runs out of ammo, whoever's loading it is like around the 21s, or the person who's selling it in the 30s runs out of ammo. One of these two guys is going to run out first.
Yeah. For the person asking for TLG, that one is OTC, so we can't talk about that one because I don't see any ticker on a regular exchange for TLG. So we can't do that one. Vertiv, VRT. This one's semis, GPU cooling.
What was I looking at? Somebody asked me about something. Oh, VST. Yeah, that was another one that was somebody was asking about today. VST actually looked more interesting. So no. This is wait. So it's just okay, but it's not. It's also not. So 120, it's got to be over. This looks rough. Are you short or long? I don't know. Prevailing downtrend. So you have a new downtrend you need to recognize if you're near term. If you're long term, I mean, you guys are pretty long term, right? I'll just say this. And you're probably looking for ad spots. So 109 is where you want to see it kind of base out right back in this area.
Okay.
Here.
Can we look at Micron?
ABCL.
That one took a nasty hit after earnings.
Micron?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't thinking he was gonna he didn't say the same thing twice. Yeah, this is stuck. I mean, it's a commodity. That's the thing. Is it's commodity stuff. So I think it is what it is. It's not like you have a lot of IP here. It's the box, man. pizza box.
Okay.
It's rough. I think this is your buy spot, but like how high? I don't know.
Can we do Walmart?
Is it over? Is the great run over? Amit?
I mean, they've had a good year, bro. Like a really good year.
They've had a great year. But and then what's his name just went long, didn't he? Kramer?
He
Where
went
said
long
he liked
Walmart?
it.
No way. No, dude, how does this happen? Well,
Dude, just chill on this thing. 85s. I think you see.
okay.
This is one where like, okay, you've had your run. Now the question is, do you want to make Walmart that heavy? Because you're probably overweight if you've been in Walmart this long. You're probably up heavily. It's like, do you want to continue to ride this through 2025, or has it had a lot of fun in the sun already?
No.
Who knows?
All right, last three. PayPal.
PayPal looked like Square. It could get choppy, but I think it was in the 80s or something. Yeah, 93. It looked good. It was going, and then boom, FOMC, and then the whole rate scenario and possible crypto. We'll see. These could be buys, like screaming buys, and we could all just be wrong. So, but it was 82s on PayPal here. I think you want to see it hold. If you're long, there's no real reason to sell. If you're long at the lows, you don't necessarily want to book that. But I think this is more digestion. Definitely more digestion. These two SMAs are getting a little tighter. You got to let this 200-day catch up to it. It's going to be a while.
Okay.
Maybe your earnings pop. A lot of CVS. CVS is going to zero. So you have $44 away from target.
Do you think it actually goes to zero?
No. It'll probably get like 10s before it gets delisted, right?
Wait, what are they down year to date? They're down 45% year to date.
32s. What you should see. I don't understand.
Yeah, people are thinking of this as a Walgreens that goes out of business, essentially.
Well, okay, so like the only saving grace is that CVS is inside of Targets now, right? So like they can make their footprint smaller. They don't have the same like real estate issue. I would be more interested in shorting pops on this than trying to think about buying dips, quite frankly, because like, why do you buy anything at a drugstore?
Yeah.
I just don't. You have Hims, you have Kaiser out there who's taking everything direct in the hospital.
Amazon. I mean, there's a lot of.
Okay. I have to admit. So there are certain things we buy at Walmart. We might have some photos printed at Walgreens. We might have some photos printed at Walgreens. So maybe that's like a saving the photo area.
I mean, actually, to get my visa to go to India, I had to go to. I mean, that was a use case, I guess.
But the problem is these are not business units that will keep the giant company afloat. What's the new one? Like Rite Aid had a bunch of stores closing again. They're already delisted. Walgreens, a bunch of stores closing now. So I don't know. It's just this is probably going to be the last Mohican, but it's probably the last of the Mohicans of a sad but dying industry.
Okay, last one, a new one for you. I don't know if you look at this, SPGI, S&P Global.
Yeah, but it seems to be one of the only physical visit pharmacies that's accurate. But why do you want that? I could go to Costco, I could go to Walmart, but even those places there's no lines there. I don't know. I agree. I agree. Just not. Yeah. Oh, sorry. What was it?
SPGI. That's the last one.
SPGI.
S&P Global. I don't know if you've ever looked at this one.
bro.
This is so funny because like,
Is this a real request?
Yeah, there's a real company.
What the frick is this?
Dude, SPGI, if I'm not wrong, these guys are the company, I could be wrong about this, that manages. They're an intelligence company.
It's LNG?
No, they're not. No, they're not a liquid naturalized. They're not a gas company. They're just they. Can someone explain S&P?
This looks like AI. Ticker AI.
No, dude, it's a big company. It's like a legit thing. Like it's a mafia company. It's one of those companies. It's a $154 billion company. It's legit. Oh, it's a credit rating company. Yes, there you go. Credit rating. Dude, honestly, I've never really researched them. I know my friend Amir, he's super big into these guys. He loves them.
I have to claim ignorance here, man. Legit.
No, you and me too. But does the chart look bullish to you? I guess that's the question. It's like Moody. That's exactly. It's like Moody's. That's the comparison. Correct. It's like Moody's. They issue credit ratings on a variety of different assets.
Why is it worth $150 billion?
This is so funny because you've never.
Moody's worth $150 billion? No.
It's like when I asked you Verizon last time, and you're like, "Why the fuck are we looking at Verizon?"
No. I mean, this looks like more than that.
I really don't know how to explain this company, but they're a big company and they're an important company.
AI fund. It looks like AI for governance.
It's not, dude. It's been around for years. It's not AI just on the website because they're taking advantage of it. But
so is it a sim? Like, is it like S&P, like SAP?
Dude, they've been around since 1984. Dude, they don't manage the S&P, do they? I don't know. I think they do.
No.
I have no. They make money on issuing bond ratings and on the S&P 500 index. They get paid by all the ETFs that use the S&P 500 index.
Oh, really? This is a confusing company, dude.
It's up 14% this year, so they've done well. But it's one of those that you buy and you hold forever, kind of. You don't trade in and out of it.
Yeah, I would say this doesn't. I would say you buy, you do your dollar cost average in here now. For lack of a better, like, they offer market data companies as a neutral party. Yeah. Okay, so this is it. Is this like ICE? Not ICE, like
This is so
CBOE?
funny, bro.
Like, is this like buying CBOE, like an exchange?
I feel like it's kind of like CBOE, yeah, kind of.
I mean, in
What's
that
CBOE's
case,
market
sure.
cap? CBOE is 20 billion.
I don't even remember what the hell the ticker was that we were just doing. That's
Dude,
PGI.
Amir, one of my friends, gonna love this segment. He's gonna laugh at it. He's gonna love that we have no idea what this company is. SPGI.
Yeah, I mean, yo, I'm definitely pleading ignorance here. Hey, but my trading view technical states is sell, but the analyst rating says it's a strong buy. Whatever. Engages in provision of transparent, independent ratings, benchmarks, analytics, and data to capital and commodity markets worldwide. It operates to the following segments: market intelligence, ratings, commodity insights, mobility, indices, and engineering solutions, because that's very relative. Market.
Jason's like, this is a scam. It's all bullshit.
No, it's like one of those, you ever seen like Israeli companies that are like, oh, we do like tractor rentals, and oh, by the way, we also grow a lot of pot, right? They're totally disconnected. But anyway,
this is so funny because this is actually, like, I've heard of this company on and off, even though I never really went into it. They're like a big entity, They're not a.
Clearly, it's working. Full automotive value chain, including vehicle manufacturers, suppliers, mobility service providers. It looks
As you guys can see, Jason needs to be able to trade it to actually care about it, and I don't think you can trade this thing.
Yeah, no, this is like investing.
Well, any thoughts on the chart?
Go ahead, dude. Do your annual DCA. It could go a little bit lower. maybe into 458s.
Oh yeah, Carlson owns this one. Carlson owns it. He'll get a good laugh if he finds this.
Yeah, this looks kind of like the Melly, like Mercado Libre chart, right? So it was like this. Looks like weekly breakout for sure, and then it was like, okay, we dip a little bit. So like, go ahead, but your good buy is going to be closer to 460s. So I'll take this, and we'll look at Mercado Libre, and it was essentially looking similar. And this was like weekly, it was looking breakout, and I wanted it in this area here. And my chart was literally, when we were looking at last, it was like looking for this. So where's the pullback going to be on Mercado Libre? It should be like right in this area. Is that an okay transition? So at 1675, I bought it.
I'll give you a good end to the day because this is a better one. Netflix.
Is it Verizon?
No.
AT&T? T-Mobile. Okay.
Netflix, bro. Are we going to 1,000 after Squid Game?
Oh, dude. Squid Games 2 is coming.
Can't wait. I really can't wait.
Okay, so $900, man. I say $900, $900. It's there. It's holding. It breached. You got a little scare. But it's holding. It's holding what it needs to do. I'm still long. It's not one I added to because I always feel like a good ad would be like in the 850s. I would be like, oh, I'm buying that. I'd be like, I'm drooling. But I don't know that I get that. So I'm just going to stay long, be long here. It's higher high, higher low time. I need to see now higher highs. Does that make sense? So look, I like it, but I mean, to be fair, it could be going sideways too, but I want to see this kind of base out and whoop, see something like a little bit of this, right? That would be nice, quite nice for Squid Games at 966, but it needs to breach the 966, man, for that to get going. Although this looks good. It looks constructive. If it loses it, it won't look so good, but I don't care because I'm still going to buy it, but I'd like to buy it deeper. But I'm already long, and I'm going to stay long, and I'm going to be long, and I'm going to watch Squid Games 2 with you, dude. We'll have a marathon.
You think Squid Game could actually take it to 1,000? You think it could bring that much more? I mean, last time, dude, Squid Game alone brought them 4 million subs. Like that. Like,
I don't think
really good. I mean, if it's that good of a show again, who knows? Who knows?
I mean, that would be nice, right? I would. We'll see, right? What do you say? When does your next? Or
do you have another cohort for trading?
Cohort. What does he mean by cohort? You mastermind? End of earnings.
Whatever program you run is.
We do school of gains once a quarter. Just finished one, so we're mid hiatus. We do have, if you want to hop in early, we have an annual available if you want to do like the annual pass for the full year of masterminds, because every quarter is different. But yeah, reach out if you want to do the annual stuff. We're just kind of collecting testimonials and things for everybody that was participating, and then we'll do like a big launch of the annual thing. But so it's going to be probably mid-February is what I think. So when does earnings season really kick off? End of January, Emmett?
Yeah, pretty much.
So end of January, we'll get through that. We will be doing some free trading on the earnings trading systems that we have. And then after that, we kick off into School of Gains. And this first quarter of 2025 mastermind. So, but yeah, we got a lot of people. I reached out to TJ too. I think he's gonna hop in, dude. I think so. A little practice on the wheeling stuff. We have the #1 futures trader coming on ETF platform. So like some really, really top traders. But anyways.
So if you guys want to get more details on that, guys, his Twitter, Jason, hit him up, Discord, all that good stuff. And end of January, if you want to get to know more about that.
Yeah.
Jason, do you know about FICO?
The credit thing? What do you mean?
Because FICO, dude, is similar to like SPGI, it's you know, it's a really big company. It's important, but like it doesn't move like that.
Dude, the only one of my tickers like this is PWR that you guys probably know about, but not everybody knows about. So like PWR is my like crazy super bullish chart that never really goes down, that I just like hodl. It's like the backbone of America. NVR, not many people know about this, is the real estate play. So I have some limit orders for NVR at 7,500 if it gets there.
7,500. What the fuck?
Yeah.
How
You don't
much
even
is
know
the
about
share?
this ticker. NVR.
8,202. What is this shit?
Home builders, dude.
Why aren't they doing a split?
What do you mean? Why? Because they don't want people to trade this thing. You just own this. This is the home builder of home builders.
I'm not paying $8,000 for a share, bro.
Dude, you're missing out then, dude. You probably would have said you're not paying $3,000 for a share like last year.
Yeah, I didn't pay $3,000 for a Bitcoin either, and look where I'm at now.
Yeah. It's only $25 billion market cap.
That is, well, yeah. I guess they could do a split. They're being intentional to not do the split.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't care.
All right. That's it. Enjoy your holidays, man. Hopefully you get some time to relax.
Man. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We're off tomorrow. Well, half day tomorrow. Let's see. Why is my buddy yapping about Ulta right now? What's
half
happening?
day tomorrow. Is Ulta moving after hours?
I don't think so. But Ulta looks better than Elf.
Ulta at 429. Yeah.
Did you see Buffett's new buy?
You bought
I thought
Oxy?
it was VeriSign or something.
Oh yeah, this Oxy and Siri. You bought that.
Okay, VeriSign. I don't get. What's the ticker on that again?
VeriSign. VRSN.
Yeah, that's a data protection play. I think that's somebody trying to play catch up on Rubric. VeriSign is super old. It's a Rubric type thing, but they did get some government contracts, by the way. Rubric's too new, really, to be in that space, but
all right,
he'll probably sell it right away. Yeah, more Oxy, more serious. Wild, dude. Wild. I know. I don't have time horizon like that, dude. He's a beast.
Well, obviously, given you didn't know what SPGI was, and neither did I. I knew what it was, but you never heard of it. I've heard of it. I just couldn't explain it. You've never heard of this shit.
This is like you asking me if I saw the RoboCops or whatever it was the other day, Terminators. Yeah. It's like maybe I heard about it, but like I mean, it wasn't interesting enough for me to like really think. There are a lot of stocks out there though, man, that you just like buy. Someone asked about Arista. Shoot, we should. So Arista's on my shopping list. If I get it under 100, I don't know that I am. It just looks like it's good. This is one I would put on the list for 2025. And maybe did you get into this one yet, Astera? Dude, this chart is just beastly.
I actually don't know much about these guys. I have no idea what these guys do. I'll look into them.
You don't know about this company?
No, I don't know. Astera Labs. I don't know what this is.
Yeah. This is a new IPO this year, but it's past all the investor lockup stuff. It's semis. It's like nuts and bolts of nuts and bolts.
Wait, I feel like I have heard of this.
I think you have fabric switching.
Scorpio. I like that's a good name. I'm a Scorpio.
I'm
buying it. I'm a Scorpio. They named it Scorpio. I'm buying it. There you go.
You're Scorpio. When does that make you born?
October 27th. Dude, everyone shits on Scorpios. They say we're like
October 27th. Oh, I must have been really close though, because I'm a Libra, like right in front of you.
Wait, what's your birthday? November?
October 1st.
Oh, you almost made, dude. You almost got part of the club, but you know,
they
shit on us because they think we're too moody and emotional and mysterious. When in reality,
I probably should have been a Scorpio then, because Libras is a balance, and I'm like, no, bullshit, right? But anyways,
yeah, they're definitely
Astera Lab switching. I mean, so like switching, and I like that area, the edge. We call it edge. Anyways. All right.
You want to do one more? You want to do Chewy?
I thought you were gonna ask me. Did what's his name post recently?
No,
Did he post something?
I don't think so.
Uh,
He posted that YouTube thing a while ago, but no one
GME
did.
looks like ready to roll.
Oh yeah, we have to do GME, dude. I said we would do GME.
Do you?
Yeah.
Chewy actually looks good, dude. Chewy looks good. Sit on it. Don't expect anything crazy. It's gonna make its little grind to the upside. Yeah, you're gonna see 40s eventually. Sooner than later.
Okay, let's end it off.
Maybe in mid 40s.
GME. GME is the one. We definitely got to end it off.
They want it. Like, what is happening to this thing? I don't know what's going on. It looks kind of bullish. But it's yeah, so like 37s, 35s. You probably see it, dude. If it gets over 31.80, then you could see as high as 37s, really. And then the way you do these is really weird. So you go in and you find the very last little gap. You have to use sound effects. 28s up to 29s, and then so it's over all of this already. So yikes, Aroni, my dude.
Well, it's done better than where it was in the summer, but yeah, it hasn't.
So it's over this hump. That's probably what's getting them juiced.
Correct.
Here.
Yeah.
So it's over that hump. It's not over this one. It's gone for shot number 3 or 4. That's 32. If you get the squeeze, you got massive take profits, 47 and 53. I said that out loud. Which may happen overnight. So be in equity, not options, because you ain't seen that in options.
Yeah.
It's a tough one, dude. This is not always the best one to be from an option, unless it's like, yo, I'm gonna YOLO on a leap, and then hopefully I get lucky, then fine, right? But it's not like a real bet. More like YOLO, have at it. Because a lot of times these after hours, these crazy moves, like the majority of them happen after hours. Like, look, so this was 44 after hours. This entire move to 67 happened after hours, and the stock didn't open. It opened at 39. So this entire thing did not happen during trading hours.
Right.
So it can be sketchy. It makes all these crazy moves in like after hours stuff. Yeah, like this. And then everybody was do you remember this day? They're all celebrating, right? It's $70 post market, and then pre-market it's 34 and closes the day at 27. Wild.
Yeah, I mean, GameStop it was fun in May for like a little bit. And then remember when he went live and he had 150,000 people, or it was like 1 million people watching it, not 600,000, something like that.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was wild.
That was.
And he comes out with his beard and he's like, right? Like does his thing.
Yeah, it was insane. All right, that's it, Jason. We'll be back next Tuesday. I mean, we still got one more episode before the year end, so
not tomorrow. Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. So
yeah, I'll be around.
All right, guys. We'll be back next Tuesday. Jason's Twitter in the chat. Follow him.
Gary Tradecorn. All right.
Have a great Christmas. Happy holidays, Jason.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. See you next week.
See you next week.
Later.
All right, guys. That's it for me. I forgot I have Robinhood Weekly tonight. So I'll be back in a couple hours, 9:30. We'll do Hood Weekly. The Palantir video I was going to upload, I'll upload that tomorrow because we're already doing another live stream in a couple hours. So that video will be uploaded tomorrow, especially because we're only going to have one stream tomorrow for the market open, no market close. And that's it. So yeah, I will be back tonight at 9:30. Oh, Doug will be on the show today. Roy won't be there. So it'll be Tanner, myself, and Doug. Doug has been long Hood since like $7. He's made a good chunk of money on options on Hood. So Oh, there he is. There he goes. Right there in the chat. Yeah, we had technical Mondays today, Doug. So that's why I put in a 3. Dude, we did almost 4 hours in the morning, 3 hours today. There you go. 7 hours of streaming. And we got another hour left, which is probably going to be an hour and a half at 9:30 when we do Hood Weekly. So I'm not doing the clap. Not doing the clap. Not doing it. Not doing it. I'll see a comment. I'll start talking, and then I'll be here till 9 o'clock, and then I'll take a 30-minute break, and then we'll be right back. So that's it for me. Thank you, everybody. 8:45 a.m. tomorrow, market open. And for those that are interested in Robinhood, tonight, 9:30, we'll be back for Hood Weekly. That's it. That's it. I'm leaving. I'm done. Bye. Thank you for being here. And I'll see you guys at 9:30 tonight. Making sure there's no comments that can that can get me to go on this 30-minute rant. What time is it for now? Right now it's 6:45 for me. So I'll be back in like less than 3 hours for Hood Weekly. All right. Bye, everyone. Have a good one. I'll see you guys in a few hours. Bye, everyone. Good night.